finger on this trigger here on this beer.
That just sounds like a good country song. All right, HVAC crew. So Dennis is busy writing country lyrics where he talks about having his trigger finger ready on his beer. So I guess it's about time we get the show on the road. Got a good buddy back on the show tonight. I honestly, when he told me how long it's been since he's been on the show, it breaks my heart. So we definitely need to do this more often. But so yeah, we got a great show. We got a great guest. We'll get him introduced here in just a minute. So let's get it going.
Yeah, come on.
The Crunch Show.
Welcome back, HVAC crew, to another episode of HVAC R&D. Rhydon and Dennis, as Rhydon said, we got a good guest tonight. Longtime friend, probably the first listener of the show. I want to say he's actually our in-house engineer, sound engineer for the show. We've get a lot of feedback from him. I can hear him chuckling back there. We get a lot of feedback from him after every episode. He is the reason why we can understand Rhydon now.
Very true. Very true.
Got good gear. So welcome back to the show, Zach.
Thank you very much.
Circle back with Zach in the house.
That's
I'm
right.
glad to be here. I love listening to you guys.
Return of the Zach.
You better get your audio right for this show, man.
Yeah.
You got the big windscreen on there. You got a big orange foam thing on the mic.
Yeah, actually, since the last recording, I bought a studio and I installed it in my dining room.
A full studio.
Yeah, it's just a soundproof. It's actually an old phone booth I just had put in the corner of my dining room.
Nice.
I filled it with foam mattresses and stuff.
Go church style around the drums.
I go in and I come out looking like Superman.
Now you laugh at the old phone booth. Back in the day when my terrible rock band used to record, we actually built a vocal booth out of 3-inch foam board in the basement of my parents' house.
Like a freezer? Like a walk-in cooler foam board?
Yeah, like the freaking 3-inch blue foam. Oh yeah, crushing it.
It works.
So we're glad to have Rhydon's dog on the show. He's always dying to get on the mic.
Yeah, that's the truth. I got 2 snoring and then 1 in Kristen's bedroom barking from there.
Yeah, Zach's walking around in a diaper.
You know, it
What'd
is.
you say was going on
really,
with your dog?
Oh, yeah, our dog's, and we're getting her fixed, but you have to let her go through heat, and so she's
Right.
in heat. So it's a Boston Terrier. She's walking around in a dang diaper. And it's got a hole for where their tail is supposed to go, but a Boston Terrier doesn't have a tail. And so what really happened is her vulva poked out of the hole, so it really doesn't do any good.
Nice. Oh, God. You guys almost make me want to get a dog.
You guys almost might have lost to some listeners, Zach.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't like it, but You know? It is what it is.
It is
Yep.
what it is.
All right, so Ryan, you want to do a little shameless plug in there? I feel like
I'd
that's
love to
your
do
new
a shameless
unit.
plug. I made sure to have a shameless plug on the Instagram story today. Since I've learned how to tag products and stories, we're getting there. I'm learning stuff as we go.
Yep.
Promoting the old charcoal and white Richardson. Come and get it, boys. It's a good light color for summer. Doesn't attract too much heat. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
Backward.
trash
If it's backward, shades the neck. Frontward, shades the face.
it. Yeah.
Always
You've seen
stylish.
my tan line from a mesh back, snapback.
Oh yeah,
It's bad.
they're
It's real bad.
classic.
On your head, like the top of your head.
Yeah, on the back of my head, I just got this brown circle.
Yeah, it looks like a giant bullhead wire right off the back of his head.
It's just a brown 2-inch circle. Where, yeah. And the band that goes around the side, I got no sun there, so it's just a white stripe around.
Now, do you get like the 6 different partitions on your head, where it looks kind of like you'd be cutting a pizza out of your head?
Nah, it's not that bad.
You should just get some like colored tanning spray.
Yes.
I really just want to grow out the cul-de-sac. Remember, that was the last time Zach was on here. We talked about that.
That's
Yeah, I've
true.
said that to a lot of people, and everyone I've talked to have never heard it, and they love it.
That's so funny.
That's what it is, man.
Well, it's like what the HVAC doctor, I was telling my wife about it tonight, and I was telling her about, what do you call them, wobble pops?
Yep.
No,
wobbly
wobbly-
pops.
wobbly
pops.
Wobbly pops. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And she's like, I've never heard that. I'm like, yeah, because we don't live
No,
there.
we definitely never heard that. Yeah.
No.
Wobbly pop. Yeah, my wife liked that. So I had a few. Yeah, we had a few wobbly pops.
Is
For
a
the
wobbly
fourth.
pop just like a seltzer water, like a seltzer, alcoholic seltzer, or something that's carbonated?
it's
That's
a-
kind of like a.
I thought just a beer
A
or
beer.
an alcoholic beverage was a wobbly pop.
Oh, okay. I was
I
thinking it was like
assumed.
those hard.
No, it's not a
iced teas or
name.
some- No, I
brand.
mean, like I thought it was just another name for like
Oh.
the seltzer water because it's like soda, sort of.
Fire
Even though
water.
it's not. Never mind.
Spicy water. That's what it was.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. We'll
Is
start
that
with
the
Zach.
Mustang?
No. Oh, at Rydon's house, maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's actually Riker snoring.
It sounded like a car just raced another car.
No, he's legit sawing logs right now, and he's about 4 feet from the mic.
So,
It just
So
sounded
what-
like you did a burnout.
so we're gonna eventually get a brewery to make an HVAC brew.
It's coming.
If
It's
we
coming.
get
You might as
through-
well. You should get Noda Brewery to like. We should get them since they're big on the Woody and Wilcox. We just should get them since they're local here.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Or Old
sure that
Mack.
they're eventualists,
What
or you
Old
can
Mack?
probably convince like, up here you don't see them a lot. And I don't know why they do it, but like, have you ever been to Ass Clown?
I've had an ass clown.
We've had an ass clown.
I mean, their
Revert back
brewery
to,
is it's pretty wild, man. It's you
Their
go in
beer
there
is-
and it's
that
like
beer is
it's
not great.
well, they never it changes every like 2 months. So every time
Right.
I've been there, it's been different.
Is it a step
It'll be
up
like-
every time, or
They're just I don't know how to explain it. They're just weird. Everything about them's weird. It'd be like, here's a blueberry cobbler mixed with some gravy spinach, and you're like, what the hell is this? And then you're like, God damn, it smells like blueberry cobbler, tastes like gravy with some spinach.
Yeah, nailed it. Nailed it.
I mean, it's like that thing on Willy Wonka, the gum,
And then the can will just have like a shark on a skateboard. Just be random as hell for that. Like,
dang it! Now I want to know what you're drinking, Zach. So what'd you
Yeah.
bring to the show?
All right, well, I've got a brew that's from 600 years ago. That's it says La Bière Fine de Luxe. It's a premium
Nice.
lager, straight out of I got to do it, Rochester.
Rochester.
is it really?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Oh,
It's good old Boone's Farm.
Oh, it's Boone's Farm.
I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I've got a story about Boone's Farm. I actually looked for it.
We
today.
all have one about Boone's Farm.
No shit.
No, but I got here. Let me.
$2.99 a bottle. Those are the days.
So I still don't even know what the hell he's drinking.
It is.
Which one?
No, it's a Stella Artois.
What?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, Stella
Stella.
Artois. It's not as good as Boone's Farm, but here
It sounds good.
I'm gonna crack the lid right here. You know when you open these things, they sound like a silent but deadly fart. Here we go.
Oh, I'm gonna crank that up. That sounded
dang.
bad. That sounded horrible.
That's rough.
I mean, what? That was terrible.
Oh, here we go. Let's see if I can get that one more time here. Here we go. There, that's me opening the beer.
Ah, there you go.
There it is.
Open it up.
There it is.
No, the reason it didn't have any noise is because I cracked it at 9:45.
Oh yeah, when we were supposed to come on the show.
All the air got let out of it.
You're welcome,
It's my
everybody.
microphone now.
Always
Right.
make sure that they have a few minutes to catch up because I probably pre-gamed a little bit too hard.
Yeah, you're like 9:45, and here it is 10:34.
I'm like, right,
Yes.
this guy is in Canada, and I don't know what his time zone is, but we're supposed to be starting right now, and you're walking the dogs.
What are y'all
Just
drinking?
Oh, okay. So I am, if anybody, seen on Instagram there, my tag that I got for my truck,
Oh yeah.
I am drinking a Happy Dad hard seltzer,
Happy Dad hard seltzer.
watermelon flavor, 5%.
Sounds really refreshing.
All right, you ready? Well, that was horrible.
No, it wasn't bad.
It
I
sounded
tried to,
pretty
episode.
beefy
I
and
tried
on
to
my end.
extend it. Tried to extend the.
You know, what'd be really funny is if you guys somehow got a collaboration of every time y'all opened a beer and just had them back to back to back to back to back. It'd probably be like 10 minutes of beer cracking.
I mean, I could.
I could just
I
record
could
it.
edit that.
I could just record every beer I crack the next week. That
Yeah,
sounds
you
like a
could.
plan.
That would be good. Because before you got your microphone, when you'd crack a beer, it would just about blow the speakers out of my car.
See,
It was just so
engineer, Zach.
so tinny. I'm like, oh god.
dude. Our show would come out the next day. Zach, would
I
be
love
like,
listening to y'all though.
You got to fix this mic, dude. You're killing me. It sounds like we stuffed him down into a 55-gallon drum and he opened a beer down in it.
Yeah.
But the gain just cranked.
Yeah. It was just tinny. But no, you're money now. Like you're good.
Well,
So what are you drinking, Ryan? I'm scared to even ask.
since Zach threatened to bring on some crazy ass beer, I thought I'd go find a crazy ass beer. So I'm drinking I Can Smell Colors from the Deciduous Brewing Company. It's a Berliner Weiss style ale with strawberry, blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, cheesecake, peanut butter, and marshmallow.
That's the Willy Wonka gum.
Come on.
You get halfway through and it turns into roast beef.
Oh, man.
You just listed the food pyramid.
Just about.
Right. That's all the food groups.
Yeah.
Oh,
Candy,
geez.
candy canes, sugar, syrup.
It says, keep me cold, drink me fresh, recycle me.
I would like to try that. What kind of beer is it?
It is a 6%. It's a Weiss style ale, so
Oh, L. Yeah.
I guess it's kind of a Hefeweizen, but it sounds more like it ought to
Okay.
be a sour.
Sounds
Let's
like
see.
a bucket of shit in a can.
Well, I would like to try it.
Hey, man, strawberry, blueberry, blackberry. All right, here we go.
Oh, my next one will be something wild. I got some flavored beers I probably could drink.
Oh,
Nice.
sound like you just opened 3 beers.
It's a little,
That was good.
little
That was-
frothy.
that was a little more powerful than D's.
Yeah.
I got
Happy
one more
Dad,
here
love you,
for
Dad.
you. I got one more for you. You ready? This is bringing back memories here.
Acoustics.
Oh, I thought that sounded familiar.
Man, Jen and I brought that up. I was like, I'm playing this on the show, and we started laughing at it. We played it. I probably played it like 5 times. It's just the struggle that she had.
Oh yeah, she.
For those who don't know, that's Dennis's wife. But the struggle she had to freaking open that, whatever that was.
So we had So during lockdown, me, Zach, and Rhydon were making music, just playing acoustic covers and putting all the videos together. So we'd all play it separately and just blend them together. And we've got all of about 20 followers on YouTube now since 2020. So it's good stuff. I will put that on the intro music. Rhydon shaking this egg shaker.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Super early, too.
Oops, broke the shaker.
You'd come into work, and Rhydon had already been there for about an hour and a
2
half.
hours.
He was
I've been there
super frustrated.
Ready to kill somebody.
Well,
and
he couldn't record all this in his
morning,
apartment.
and Rhydon is just angry. Like, dude, we haven't even opened the doors yet.
Oh.
There's little beads all over the place.
Oh, come on. Jeez.
Yep.
I swear this thing, I have to go back to the beer. This thing smells like a pissed off peanut butter sandwich.
I mean, what does it taste like? Like, just right on the front.
I don't get the marshmallow. Definitely get the bitterness from the berries. Oh, no, there's the peanut butter in the finish. All right, that's kind of crazy.
Sounds pretty wild.
Oh, my gosh.
As Zach said, nailed it. All right, that was kind of wild. The thing is, though, like, I couldn't drink a whole, 4-pack of tall boys of this.
No, none of the beers you drink you can.
I think I'm bringing them on for the shock value. Maybe that's it.
6% though, that's not terrible. I mean, that's drinkable.
That'll keep me warm. Right back to another hitchhiker or 5.
Oh, jeez.
You can't go wrong with that.
I do like Stella. I drink some Stella occasionally.
It's usually when I go to the bar, I'll end up getting Stella because most times they don't have Modelo. And I've come to a conclusion it's because nobody wants to deal with the aluminum wrapper peelings that'll be all over the bar and the floor.
Probably true.
Because I don't like it here, but I have it all over the house. It just shows up like confetti when you had a New Year's party, and then 3 months later, you found pieces of it. Yeah, there's
champagne.
little. I'll be in my daughter's room, and all of a sudden there'll be like a gold flake. I'm like, oh.
I'll admit, I normally go for the cans over the bottles just because I don't want to carry them up 2 flights of stairs.
Yeah,
because the bottles are freaking even heavier. And then I got to deal with trying to figure out what to do with a case full of empty bottles.
I could just picture the Modelo truck pulling up at Rhydon's apartment. The guy with the hand trucks get out and just starts taking beers up to his apartment.
And I'm like, that's...
He talks to like Mr. Rogers' neighbor. Like, howdy, neighbor.
All right, so speaking of your kids, Zach, how they been? Everybody good?
Yeah, they're good. I got my oldest just turned 6 today, and
Sweet.
Took her on Saturday to the trampoline park. This is my first time going. I think I had so much fun there. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I woke up Sunday and I haven't been that sore before in a long time. Like my body hasn't moved like that in probably 15 years. But yet I was jumping and doing the trapeze and all that, landing in the foam pit. It was fun, man.
Dude, that foam pit's hard to get out of.
Yeah, it is. I was holding my youngest. She's
Of course,
about
we
to turn
sink
2.
straight to the
and
bottom.
I stepped into it thinking it was going to be not what it was, and I sank all the way down, fell down, had to have someone hold her, get her out of there, just for me to get out because my feet were way above my head, and I was like upside down. I couldn't get out of there.
Yeah,
It
it
was
gets
cool,
a little
though.
awkward in there. You can't move around.
But it was fun. You jump around, you feel like Spider-Man for a little bit. But it was a good time. Family's doing good though.
The band
Still
still,
have
it seems
never
like
been
your
to one of those
band's
things.
crushing it.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're playing a lot in Charlotte coming up next year. And God, man, the last show we had, it was a place in Charlotte, and everybody, it made me feel old. 'Cause I'm 36, and I think everybody that was in there, besides the manager and the bouncers, was between 21 and 26.
Ooh.
But we had a whole bunch of stickers that we had made, which I was going to ask you, who do you guys, Ryan, you said you use stickermule.com? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to
do.
do that next time because I got a bunch of stickers made at like a print place here, and I had to cut them out individually, and that took forever. And but we had them, and we were just giving them out free, and all these girls were taking them, and one of them just literally pulled her top down and put it right on her nipples and was just hanging out in the bar with our stickers on her boot. Like, it was wild, man. And then
you with the
here's
groupies.
the yeah. Well, here's the kicker: we all got COVID. We all got COVID from that venue.
Of course you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, it was.
Sure, it was from the venue.
I don't know. It was it was fun though. But no, the band's doing good. We're playing.
Oh, I
once
bet
a
your
month.
dad got a kick out of that.
Yeah, he literally went right up to that group of girls at the end of the show, and here he is, 63 years old, and they're like probably 23 or whatever. And he walked up to them and just was like, "Y'all are the most beautiful women in here, and we really appreciate you doing this." And he came back and told us that. And I was like, "Yeah, you probably just scared the shit out of them." Like, who's this old
I
man
got candy
just
in the
talking
van
about
out here.
I got candy in the trailer out here.
Oh, and then he lost his keys to his truck or his SUV, so he had to. We were there till 3:30 in the morning waiting for AAA, and so he finally got fed up with it. So he just took a microphone stand and just busted out his back window, and his keys were
Jeez.
in the cooler that he had with him the whole time.
Oh no!
But in a nutshell, yeah, we're doing good. We're having fun.
So how far
good
out
time.
do you book usually?
I'm booked up all the way through the end of this year. I was booked all this whole year, all the way starting in January, and I've already started booking some for next year.
How many
Wow.
shows are you guys playing a month now, Zach?
I think we're trying to do once a month, but if we get a new venue that is, where we want to go and they want to play us again, then we'll sometimes do twice a month, but it's just to get, to where they like us enough to get in a rotation. But we try to do once a month because everybody's like, one guy's a school teacher and another guy works all in Winston-Salem, which is an hour away. And it's a lot with our families and stuff. So we try not to do more than a month.
Yeah, I thought
Like
y'all
once
were
a
almost
month.
play. It seemed like y'all were playing every weekend, but
No, we had a couple weekends where we did like every other week for like 2 months straight.
right.
But then we're going to take a break in December or whatever.
Tracy
That's,
actually asked me that it's about time to go see Zach play again. So
Yeah, well, it'd be cool to get down there in the Fort Mill area.
yeah,
Or if we can get up in Hickory whenever you move up there, up in Hickory.
Hickory.
Killing me.
All right, so anybody have anything? Anybody set any fires off? Burn anybody's house down for the 4th?
No.
Fireworks?
Did see a sweet little fireworks show in a neighborhood close to yours on Saturday. That was very nice. Of course, most
it was
everybody, if
It was
anybody
a war
saw it,
zone down here, man. Jeez.
yeah, I know. And then I walked out on my back porch, I think Sunday night, and it sounded like we were still fighting the revolution.
Monday
And then
was
we
big
were
here.
We were giving the Brits the business.
Yep. Old Rhydon, old history major, gonna
Sorry, can't help
break
it.
it down for us.
Can't help it. That's why.
Do you ever wish?
Happy
Do you ever wish
Freedom
that you did
Weekend.
that? I actually saw a guy. I didn't talk to him because I was pulling out of the gas station today. But it was a guy that I went to high school with, and I saw him as I was leaving. But he is a history teacher at the high school that we graduated. And I thought about you, Rhydon, and I just wondered, like, have you ever like wished that you did that at all?
So
I know not for the money, but just for
no,
like,
no, like I
the
always
self thing.
for different reasons. Like I always wanted to be when I first got into it. I wanted to be a history professor or a museum curator because I wanted to be able to kind of dabble in all different parts of history in some cases. But I always really liked ancient history. But then as I got into college, I got really focused on
Modelo.
revolutionary. Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry.
Honestly, I'll be honest, I really did not drink much in college. I worked my ass off.
Yeah.
But I got really into like American Revolution, Civil War. And then I also learned that in order to be a professor, I was going to have to speak and write in 3 languages.
Oh, what?
And
Yep, not it.
I said, there's no way in hell. I struggled at Spanish. There's no way in hell I'm learning multiple languages to be able to read and write them while I'm working 5 days a week, going to school 2 days. I just couldn't do it. So
I didn't know that was a requirement.
yeah. So I had to.
Wow.
You had to have 2 to get your master's, 3 to get your doctorate. The way it was looking, I was like, "There's no way I could do this."
You should have told me you wanted to learn Dothraki
Yeah.
and Cleons or what's that? Is it Cleon? Whatever the Star
Klingon?
Trek.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Cleon.
Learn Vulcan.
You want to learn the
by
Elven,
hand.
the Elven language from Lord of the Rings.
What's that new app? You could have used that back then. What's that new app?
There's a bunch of them now. Dang it! Back in the day, it was Rosetta Stone, and then now
Yeah.
it's like
It's not
what is it?
Wow, what is it?
Yeah, I got conned into buying a $275 Rosetta Stone package one time.
Nice.
It was the day after the Super Bowl. It was when I was a helper at an HVAC company. I was driving and I was like, it'd be really cool to be able to speak to all these people that are on these job sites. And so I called in and talked to them. She's like, yeah, it's just a free trial. And I was like, okay, well, I gave them my credit card number. I never canceled it. And the next thing you know, it's $275 comes out. And yeah, I didn't learn anything. I learned leche is milk.
Wow.
Duolingo. That's
Leche.
it. Duolingo.
El gato leche. And that's
El gato
cat,
leche.
the
Cat
cat milk.
Oh, cat milk.
And I'll do that from time to time. We've got some guys that work for a company that are Honduras, and I'll walk up there and be like, El gato leche, and they just start laughing, and I'm sure they start speaking, and I'm like, God, they're making fun of me. I know they are.
Yeah, they're like, why does he just say the cat, the milk? Cat milk.
Meow.
Yep. So, we will get into some HVAC on here, I swear to you. But
Oh, we got a
You're gonna-
great HVAC show lined up.
you're gonna have to
About half
bear.
an hour.
You're gonna
I
have to
thought he was
bear
going
with
to say,
us.
we got a great HVAC show lined up for you next week.
Yep, next week when we have somebody other than Zach on.
This is misleading, just like your episode on how to make $1 million.
Yep.
I never
I
said
forgot
that.
about that.
I never said
Y'all have-
how to make it. I just
What
said
is it?
making millions in HVAC.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then you're like halfway through, you're like, yeah, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
And I really thought you were going to tell me, and I'm like, I cannot
You
wait
start
to hear
with
what
a
they're gonna say,
million.
because I know both of y'all, and I'm like, I
One.
cannot wait to hear what bullshit they're about to pull out.
Hey, man.
You start
work
with $1
hard
million
You just work
in
hard every day.
cash flow.
If you make $1 million,
That's
go buy a McDonald's franchise.
Yep, fix
And
the
then-
ice cream machines.
And yeah,
And then
fix their
have
ice
a
cream
YouTube
machines.
channel.
I saw
still
a
need to
thing.
watch
I saw a sign, and I don't know if maybe one of y'all sent it to me. I don't know. It was a sign that said, it was a Chick-fil-A sign. It said, "At least our ice cream machines aren't broken."
Oh,
And it was
very
like right
gangster
down the
right
road from the McDonald's.
They should
they don't
Every
need,
time
they don't
I
need
go
any help.
outside.
They don't need any
Dude.
help getting money. Chick-fil-A is.
Every-
I feel bad for anybody that's listening in Canada that doesn't know what Chick-fil-A is. I don't know. Are they up there yet?
I have no idea.
Wait, maybe that's Bojangles. Bojangles is a
let's
South
find
thing,
out.
isn't it?
Bojangles is not in Canada. I'm just going to go out on a limb there.
But if they were, Foodie would love it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I bet he would.
Man, some of that food he puts on there.
Sounds like getting like a thing
joke.
of chicken supremes, extra seasoning salt,
I wanna
French
go-
fries, a Mountain Dew, and then you have a nosebleed.
Did you see that jerk chicken plate he had the other day
Yeah,
just
no
for
joke,
lunch?
that chicken looked ridiculous.
I'm like, how the hell are you eating that at lunchtime and going back to work, man? Yeah, it looked good. So speaking of that, Zach, in your travels when you're selling HVAC, what do you do for lunch? Do you take your lunch?
I do now. I used to eat. I used to eat terrible. I
I
was just going
to-
I used to
nearby.
eat horribly.
Oh yeah, I'd go into McDonald's and I'd just go to the drive-thru and I'd get a McDouble and a small fry because I had a cooler full of water and that's all I drank. Because if I drink anything other than water, you're just gonna get thirsty. And so
Right.
I was eating that and then going into QT and getting like a little taquito or something, just terrible. So
That's
I started.
that's where you got it. That's what got you. The McDouble and the small fry is not that terrible.
No, but the meat paste rolled up in a flour thingy.
Yeah, or you'll get like the buffalo chicken,
cardboard
the
tortilla.
big buffalo chicken wiener looking thing.
Oh yes, I
like,
forgot.
what
about-
is that? Like,
It's
know?
great. It
It's-
dipped
it's
in
delicious.
ranch
You
is what it
wanna
is.
know. You don't want to know what it really is.
It's got cheese in the middle too. It's
it does. It's really
you
good.
dip it in ranch. It's solid.
And you can't. I mean, it's.
I'll
there's
tell you
way
what
to-
the
there's no way
weirdest
to
thing-
eat it in a nice manner. Like when you're eating it, it's like it's so hot that like even through that little plastic bag, it's like scalding your fingertips. So you're like barely touching. Look like you're playing the flute when you're in the car, and you're just sitting there. You take a bite, you throw it down real quick. You got to pick it up and take a bite and throw it down real quick.
Yeah, there's no vessel to put it in. It's just a chicken stick. I mean, it's
So
a giant-
I started
chicken
packing
fry.
my lunch recently, and I do like a wrap where it's just, like I'll get like some kind of turkey or something, and then I've got like one of those. It's not an Arctic cooler, but it's I don't even know what brand it is. I got it as a wedding. I was in a wedding last year, and I got it as a gift for being a groomsman. But it's this hot, like a real fancy cooler, and I'll have like several waters in there with like the pH and the electrolytes and all that. I'm kind of picky about it. But then I'll have a wrap and then like some applesauce or something, like a little pouch, and everybody makes fun of my applesauce pouch because it looks like I'm a little kid when I eat it. But, I just literally will just not stop for lunch. I'll just do what I'm doing and then I'll drive to the next call. And it's just great because I never like stopping for lunch. I don't know. I'm too busy. And every time I take a lunch, all I'm doing is pushing my day back further than it needs to be.
Right.
So I'll go when it's slow, but when we're right now, like the way we are, like I just,
When I was running service, man, in the summertime, like I am not. So my lunch consisted of me just kicking back, putting on a podcast for a minute. When I worked for a place where they were like, "Look, you have to take a lunch. You have to clock out on your tablet, clock back in." I'm like, "All right." But when I worked, that first company I worked for, there was no lunch. It was just eat on the go, something small. Try not to throw up in the attic,
Yeah.
But
Speaking of throwing up, let me. I'm gonna get another beer.
You gonna
Hold
go
on
throw
one
up?
second. No, you remember last time I was on here, I had like that crazy dizzy spell, and I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna like throw up in the bathroom the whole time. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna get another beer, and maybe this one will actually have a good sound to it.
Nice.
All right,
Beer
hold on.
break. 34
Beer
minutes, 22 seconds. What'd you think of the elevator music last time during beer break?
Oh, very nice. I think we should reintroduce time and time
HVAC.
again.
HVAC Doctor had a nice little intros coming back.
What the world was he doing? Sound like he fell in a barrel.
All right, I'm back. What'd you say?
It sounded like you fell in something.
Did it sound like this?
Yep.
Yeah, it's because my microphone. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Yeah, my microphone's very sensitive to like noise on the table. So I got a new one here by Highland Brewery in Nashville.
Oh.
It's
Oh yeah,
Peachful.
it's good.
It's a peach ale.
Classy.
I know. Rhydon had me like wanting some flavor.
Man, look at you tonight. Stella, peach ale.
I mean, Highland's pretty classy.
I like
They're
that.
pretty good.
It was a cool beer in the mountains before Asheville was cool for beer.
Right.
Yeah, it was around. That was like one of the because like Sierra
That's an
Nevada,
old school one up there.
Sierra Nevada up there. That brewery is freaking gorgeous. Have you been there?
Yeah, that's a adult playground. That
It
It
place.
is, man. The whole roof is made out of copper, and it's like, holy cow, man.
Yeah, it's. I
Here
look
we
like.
go.
Those are from confiscated whiskey stills.
Right.
Anyway, sorry to get back on the beer.
No, you stay on the beer. Beer is a
How-
good topic.
What's that one taste like, Zach? Peach.
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Acoustics.
No, it tastes like peach. It's just like a peach ale. It's really good. It's if you like peaches, I like peaches.
Yep.
Millions
song.
of peaches. Peaches
From the presidents of the United States.
of America.
That was a terrible song.
America.
It was so bad that it was you couldn't stop listening to it.
One hit wonders, baby.
Yep. Have to drop that in there. That was my era. That's when I started learning to play guitar.
I love that your intro is you and Corey playing, and I love it so much. The sound of you pulling the plug on the disconnect switch.
No, I'm not. That's just my Goodman shutting off.
It sounds amazing. It's like the
It
perfect
sounds
way
like
to
it just
end
took a
every
shit
show.
out there.
I know, but it's like it's the noise that everyone associates air conditioning
Oh, yeah.
with.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like a couple months ago, when we were going through like the mild weather, all of a sudden I got home one day and it was quiet, and all of a sudden I just heard this, and then you hear it everywhere, and it sounded like wolves calling each other, and all of the HVACs were
Mack
kicking on, and I'm like,
calling Zach to
oh my
sell
God, it's money.
HVAC.
Here comes money.
Oh, yep. Like a bunch
And
of.
then we have these heat
coyotes
waves.
calling
We have
each
these heat
other.
waves, and then we have these cool days. And we have these heat waves, and we have these cool days. And it's like, God almighty, man.
Isn't that weird though? How there'll be a day where it's like, and maybe this is just me in tech support, but there'll be a day of like 85 degrees, and I cannot get off my phone, and then it'll be 99, and I won't get a single call. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's just
last
weird.
week it was like super hot, and it was like kind of weird. And then today
Yeah.
alone,
oh my
I filled
gosh,
up
everybody's
our installs.
repaired.
I filled up our installs for the entire week next week just today because of all these people that are like, "Hey, you gave me a quote about a week ago, blah blah blah," and it's because these waves, man. It's weird.
Well, and some of that too were they holding out till after the family get together on the weekend,
That's a good point.
to save a few pennies to make sure they got what they needed.
Now, does your company stock up a little bit or do anything different before a holiday weekend?
No, we buy equipment as it comes.
Okay.
The second we get the job, we order the equipment, and I make a material list, and my coordinator orders the equipment and all the material needed for the job, and then she places it, and it all comes right then and there. And then if we need like breakers or something, I put all that in there too. She'll have it, and because we have an install crew, and then we have a startup crew that overlaps with the install crew, and the startup crew is actually like,
I was going to say, take us through that.
yeah, so they're the newest guys. So they don't know how all this works, and the way that we feel that is kind of neat. I mean, yeah, when we're slow, we let them go with other guys and they see everything. But I think the first thing to understand how it works is they have to see how it's supposed to work from the beginning. And so they go in and they see the install crew comes in, takes it out, does their thing, puts it back. It's literally just construction.
Right.
And the startup crew will wire it up. They will pull the vacuum. They will, do all the stuff with the levels. They'll change the gas pressures based on what they need, and then they'll do a static pressure test and adjust the airflow speeds. And I usually address that beforehand. And if there's something like the returns are too small, I'll let them know ahead of time. Hey, this customer did not want to upsize their returns, even though I told them they really needed to do this. And right now it's
Right.
hard because it's AC mode, so the fans are slower than normal. But and when the heat mode comes, that's when they're going to hear and notice the big problem
Right.
because the fan speeds will be higher. But yeah, so they do that, and it's really cool because it eliminates. I feel like it helps eliminate callbacks, and yeah, it's also. I feel like my last company that I worked at would have viewed it as a waste because then they can just be like, well, the installer can put it in, do everything, and be done, and that works. But if you have the means to like want to grow somebody, I mean, you can put that.
Well,
You can build your pricing the way that you need to. You can build your pricing however you need to make your company work. I mean, it's not like you know what I mean? And that's the thing that I don't know. I don't understand it. Like when there's people that are doing these deals and they're like, yeah, well, just like I have customers ask me all the time. They're like, well, when it slows down, in the fall, do you guys have like a deal where you can get an AC system cheaper? And I see companies doing that, and I don't understand why they do that because there's no need to do it.
No, nothing changed on your end.
And I tell them every time I say, well, the only thing I know for sure that's going to happen is the prices are going to go up because that's all they ever have done since the beginning of time. Like I've never seen the prices drop back down. And
no,
I don't know, but like the whole thing with the startup crews is really cool because it allows them to come in and they're not like miserable and sweaty and just like angry because they freaking fought with ductwork for about 30 minutes or however long. And they're, they come in with a fresh mind and they know what they're supposed to do. And then the install crew gets to leave and go home at like 1 or 2 o'clock that day. Like they come in and they start at 7 and then they get on the job at 8 and then they're out of there by 2 and they can just be with their families and they're getting paid good to do it, And then that way the startup crew comes in, does their thing and they finish it. They collect the payment. They go over the thermostat operations with the homeowner. And then it's just like quality control. Like it's customer service and it's something that I like a lot that we do.
Now you try to, if you sold a job, you try to swing back by there, or are you involved in it?
Yeah, so I'm the point of contact from start to finish with the customer. And if I don't have a sales lead, I will go by the job on the way home.
Right.
If they're still there. I mean, if they're doing just an AC coil, they might have been done by like 1 o'clock.
Right.
Something like that. And then, if I'm getting done at like 5 or 6, I'm not going to go by there. But like today, for instance, I mean, we had the homeowner, and this is something that I feel like this industry is just like what HVAC doctor said last week about taking your time, allotting the amount of time you need to do your job the right way. But I feel like the biggest problem with our industry also is customer service. And I feel like a good customer service comes with being reachable, responding in a timely manner, and then just like going out of your way. Like I didn't have to do it, but today I went by because the guy had issue with the thermostat just because he didn't fully understand it. Our guys went over it with him, but he's an older guy. And I just went by there today just to talk to him about it. I don't know. It's...
I mean, I was the same way.
It's true. Yeah. It's true.
Because, I mean, I think about what I would want if I were them. And I feel like that's...
Well, people are going to be paying more money for this stuff, and you're going to have to fluff it up with more stuff. Like you're just going to have to put a lot more effort into it, a lot more customer service, because $4,500 for a furnace coil AC those days are just gone, man.
More like $8,000 and $9,000 for
that's what I mean. But
are gone. It's ridiculous what we're seeing, and
I'm excited about the new stuff though.
Yeah. Well, I know, and we continue to talk about it, but that new stuff to us, it's really cool and exciting. Distributor and contractor side, but the homeowner, they're going to be seeing another freaking price hike. It's coming because all these regulations are just forcing it up and forcing it up.
Yeah, and the good thing about the price hike now is it all makes sense to a homeowner because everything's going up. And they know it, and they're like, yeah, I figured, and it's just like really cool, and they'll get like 3 quotes or whatever, and, you can't get them all. And I mean, I had one last week that I was the 7th contractor to come out there, and I'm like, God, y'all have a lot of free time to have all these quotes. And, I made it between me and one other guy, and I think I lost to him because I haven't heard from it. But it's whatever. But it's just they understand.
Well, you got to call back.
It's not even about. Say what?
I say you got to circle back with Zach. You got to.
Yeah, no, I will. I keep a Google spreadsheet on everything that I do, and the dates of when I did it, and then I'll circle back and I'll reach out to him. This was last week, so I'll probably reach out to him. I don't know. Right now, hold on a minute. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, bring him on the show.
Hey,
it does get hard to do that though. When the busier we get, and you're getting 3 and 4 calls a day, sometimes it does get where you don't even think about it. And then I'll just have time like on a Saturday, and I'll sit down and and that's the other thing. Like everybody talks about this 9 to 5 thing, and everybody knows HVAC is not 9 to 5, but like you just gotta you gotta enjoy it, man. Like if you don't enjoy it, I just don't feel like you'll ever do a good job.
No, that's 100%.
And it's just and I get our guys, and I've even got our installers watching. God, who's that guy? Jeff? Is it Jeff? The install porn, all that stuff.
Yeah.
My God, man! Like it's just you look at it and it's just like HVAC porn. It's like, oh my God, look at that, And I've got them looking at it, and they're all pumped about it, and I got them sending me like after photos that match my before photos, and they're trying to. It doesn't look like his stuff because God Almighty, his stuff looks amazing, but it's
he'll tell you like it's a lot. He does a lot on purpose.
Yeah.
But you can still do a clean job without
Yeah, but
without overfluffing it.
It's just the whole having pride with what you do and making it
right.
Like, I don't know. I think you can make it as fun as you want to make it.
To me, if an installer, this will sound weird, but if an installer takes a before picture, he knows you. I know you take them, but if an installer takes a before picture, he rips it out, and he takes an after picture, even if it looks like crap. The fact that he's taking pictures and thinking that he made it better, right?
Yep,
that's a huge deal.
Yeah,
that's
a
huge deal
for growth.
Even if another guy walks up and goes, dang, man, that's kind of scruffy looking.
Because eventually that person, you can teach him.
He at least cares.
He's already got the mindset to want to be better. Because
he's
taking the before
what
and
he
after
just
to
did.
kind of. Yeah,
Right.
I think that's awesome, man.
I just think there's more of that now than there used to be. The slamming in and go,
Oh, I got a story, man.
Just do another one tomorrow. I mean, we got to get away from that.
I had a lady call me last week, and we originally told her no because that's the one thing I really like about where I work. It's not that we tell people no, but like we're not afraid to tell people no if it's something that's going to cost us money or it's going to be a headache that we're getting married to. And she called in and said she had this other company out. And she said that the insurance company got her a new unit and dropped it off. And she wanted us to install it. And I called my manager and I was
First red flag.
I was like,
yeah,
what insurance company can get a hold of an HVAC system? And he goes, I don't know, Zach, just go out there and have fun with this one. And I was like,
go out there and have fun.
Well, back up a little even more. I said, how did we get this call? And he said, he goes, well, the lady, they are friends with a builder we do a lot of work for. So we just want to at least show up and just not say no because the builder gives us a lot of work. So I was like, okay. And the weirder the call, I feel like the more entertaining it's going to be because it gives me this story to tell. And I show up and the husband's there and we're talking about it, walking around the house. And I was like, so what insurance company do you guys deal with? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, what insurance company can get a unit? He goes, oh, there's no insurance company. I was like, what? And he goes, we had such and such come out here and it's a company in Charlotte. And they were working on our upstairs furnace. They replaced it, and they talked my wife into replacing the downstairs AC and coil, but we didn't need it. And she realized that she got hassled, and they installed the outdoor condenser, and she made them take it back out and put the old one back in and then fired them. And I said, and they just left the condenser and the evaporator coil here willingly? And he goes, yep. I said... okay, well, and I still don't know 100%, but the outdoor unit was sold. The name tag was gone. I mean, it was, and to tell you that the outdoor unit was brown. It was the physical color was painted brown. So it tells you how old it was. That was an old unit. Nice. And I went in there and the condenser was sitting in this like walk-in basement crawl space type thing, and there were spiders all over it, man. There were spiders inside of it. So that thing had been sitting there for more than like a day or two. And
Right.
I think that she had someone that worked at such and such company come out to her on the side and said, because this company that I know for a fact, they're a huge train dealer, and this was Tempstar equipment, which I know Tempstar will allow you to, some guy, well, I don't want to get him in trouble. Lo and behold, Tempstar sold somebody this equipment. I think the homeowner paid for it and then said, we're firing you. We're done with this. And then just kept the equipment because the homeowner paid for it.
Yeah.
And, well, it's an upflow application, furnace and coil. And the evaporator coil was a dedicated horizontal evaporator. So it won't work in the first place. And
Jeez.
it was never installed. And I pulled it out. And thank God I pulled it out of the box because that's what let me see it, because of the way the drain pan was. And I just told him, I said, I'm sorry, but here's the price for us to do it with our equipment. And here's my number.
Yeah.
And I didn't
And
expect
drop
to get
the
that
mic.
one at
And
all.
I'm out.
I told my manager, I was like, man, we're getting into a problem here. And he's like, Zach, if you don't feel comfortable, just, dude, I'll back you 100%. You do whatever you think and I'll back you. And I was like, okay. And I don't like telling people no, but I didn't tell them no. I just said, we can't do what you wanted to do, but we can help you. And it's just like, I love so much how HVAC Doctor said when that person was arguing with him about the warranty, he goes, look, I'm not here to work against you. I'm here to work with you.
But here
it is.
But here it is.
What do
Yeah.
we do? What do we move forward? What should we do? What should we do?
We have, well, I mean, and you saw it on our side too. I have that conversation at least once or twice a week with a guy that's calling about a piece of equipment. It's 8 years old, but it's on a different homeowner, so it's not warranty anymore. And I'll have ones that at time they try to lie that it was the homeowner because they won't tell you who it is till you tell them who it is, so they can try to say
I
who
love
it
the
is.
whole who's going to say who it is.
Yeah.
They'll just leave that part blank.
Yeah. I had one the other day. No, actually, it was today. They were calling. It was 8 years old. They don't buy from us. It was registered, new homeowner from a different distributor. And I was like, well, we can't warranty this. If it was under warranty in the original homeowner, we'd still charge you a fee because we didn't make any money on it in the first place. The distributor that sold it, they might could help you, without charging you a fee. But, we got to make our money somewhere.
Yeah, to process.
I don't
it.
understand why contractors. I feel like maybe this is part of the customer service. It takes a certain person. It's scary for some people, I can imagine, to go up and tell bad news to a homeowner. I mean, I don't like doing it, but like at the end of the day, that's part of the
You're
job.
kind of protecting them that way, though. I mean, you got to
are.
tell them
You
straight
got to
up.
tell them. Exactly.
I mean, you can just start it off by saying, like, I hate being the bearer of bad news, but I need to bring this to your attention, because I don't understand why a contractor is going to argue with the dealer about a warranty situation when all they got to do is just relay the facts. Like, unless that contractor is desperately trying to get that business because it's the only job they've had all year long and they're scared of losing, I just don't understand why they would argue with you about it.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of emails that come across my desk from the factory, where a homeowner has called the factory and says, they usually write them this super long letter that gets emailed to me saying, had a contractor put the system in, it ain't worked ever. So we got a new contractor, and now the factory needs to fix this.
Yeah.
So then it'll get sent to me because maybe it's got a contractor that I'm associated with, right, that buys from us. So then I got to try to reach out to him. And I got one probably 2 days ago that's 2.5 ton AC, 14 SEER. Indoor unit has a 4 ton coil on it. Just monster coil. The company that put it in is out of business. They're gone. So this guy strolls up, he's just called out there for a no cooling call. I mean,
Yep.
and he takes it on. So then he says, look, this ain't going to work. You got a mess here. Whoever put it in, it's all wrong. So she writes a big letter to the factory. That comes to me. And she wants the factory to just give her new stuff. I mean,
How old is it?
It don't really matter. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, so how does how do you handle that? Because that new contractor's not going to just fix it for free. He didn't put it in.
Nope.
The old contractor's gone. So, and it's not the factory's fault either, right?
No, it's not.
No, it's not the homeowner's fault, and that's the problem. It's the contractor went out of business's fault.
Somebody's got
most likely it's his fault, but based on install, if he followed
Oh yeah.
the installation manual and brazed.
So then I'll
properly.
get these homeowners that just somehow got my number, and I'll have to just break it to them.
Yeah, it's
I
probably one that
hate
Jobin installed.
No.
Joe,
Probably that one with a sticker butter.
old Jobin. Hadn't heard from Joe. Well, I did hear from Jobin today.
I was going to tell you though, as far as it's funny because I had a customer, was arguing with me over price. Well, not arguing, but he was trying to negotiate. And once I tell my price, that's it. There's no negotiating. And I have to explain it. And I talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, he had another brand that rhymes with Woodman." And it was out there, and he was asking. He goes, "Well, we had that installed 3 years ago, and it was such and such. So why is this price?" I said, "Well, you got a couple things going against you. I was like, time for sure. You got the, inflation, and everything's going up, and the Department of Energy stepping in and changing a lot of stuff. So everything's going up in technology, and everything's just moving up." I said, and two, you also have workmanship, and workmanship costs, there's a price for workmanship.
Yeah, it's not free.
Yeah. And I was like, this is what we do. And this is what I feel like we do that separates us from a lot of people. And, kudos to everybody that does do this. I think it's awesome. I talk about airflow like crazy. I think that's a huge problem with this industry's airflow,
It is.
with especially return ductworks, because it's like 8 out of
All
every
the time.
10 houses I go in, I swear to God, the return ductworks are undersized.
Dang, that was
And
something I never wanted to
it's
talk
by a
about
lot. But I'll talk about that, and he goes, "Yeah, well, they put that in. It was so much cheaper." And I said, "Well, did you get them to quote it?" Or no, he goes, "Why would someone put that in, and not this?" I said, "Well, honestly, a lot of people that put that in," I was like, "They're starting out, they're doing whatever," because a lot of times when you get with a different name brand or whatever, like they require a certain amount of sales to be a dealer and all this stuff and all that, whatever. And, the price points are different for like who they buy from. And I said, and a lot of times those companies will go out of business, and that's unfortunate for the homeowner, but they think they're getting a deal because they're paying this great price. Well, then all of a sudden when something goes wrong, they can't get in touch with that dealer because they're not in business anymore.
Yeah. They didn't know
who
how to
loses?
price to be able to survive.
Yeah, I'm like, who loses? And I was like, the homeowner. That's who loses. And I
The
said,
consumer,
and then that
always.
was like, yeah. And so then we were talking. He's like, "Yeah, well, I got that price a couple years back for that." I said, "Well, why didn't you get that company to quote us?" He goes, "Well, they're not in business anymore." And I started laughing, dude. I
Exactly.
started laughing. I was like, "You just proved my point." And we got
Right.
the job. We got the job because they started laughing with me. But like, I was just like, "You proved my point. Like, that's it right there." But no, it's just funny because you just made me think about it when you were talking about the companies going out of business and stuff.
Well, you've kind of already said this, but I want to make you go through it one more time because the size company you work for, at the end of the day, sometimes we try to help guys on this show. I know we ramble on about a bunch of bullshit, but so take me through. So your sales, you sell the job, you go through, you're out there a couple hours going through everything. Take me through how you set it up with the shop to come back out there and do the install.
So like from
The
the time
little
I leave,
process. Yeah. So you've
So when I
sold the
go-
job. Yeah.
So when I get out there, the first thing I do is we all share everything through Google Drive, and then I have every job on Google Keep, which is like a notes app, and I can take pictures. I can write down everything. I've got a template that I paste on there every time that tells me the job description, where it serves, like whether it's the upstairs or downstairs, and then it'll say how many, is it wire size or wire count for outdoor unit, and it'll say like 8 count or 5, like for how many wires are going out there. Same thing with the indoor unit, same thing with the thermostat, and then I double check it at the indoor unit, and then I get the breaker size, all that stuff, all these notes and pictures. I take a ton of them, and measurements and C cabinet and what size is the returns, what size are the supplies, and then I take all that in consideration. Then I take a picture of all 4 sides of the house so I can get all the, and the reason I do that is to get the window sizes, because most windows are the same size. And I do that to get the window sizes. And then, I take a picture of the gas meter, all that stuff. That's right. So I do all that, and then I type all my notes in, and then I do a load calculation on the house. And then I look it up with GIS, whether it's in Mecklenburg County or whatever county it is, and it'll literally give me, every county will give me the floor plans of the house, so I know exactly how to draw the house on the load calculation. And the only thing I got to change is where the sun is, like where north is, and I'll change that, and then I'll have to enter the windows manually, and then I'll have to enter the installation value, and that's sometimes as a guess, but it depends on what year the house is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you change the little things like that, and then it'll give you the load calculator. So if I'm doing just the first floor, I will only do the first floor, and then the second floor, I'll just say it's a conditioned space, because it's supposed to be a conditioned space. I don't have to worry about it if it's got its own system. And I'll do all that. I'll take a screenshot of that, and I'll stick it in there in the Google Keep, and it's to back me up if something ever goes wrong. But then I also confirm it by looking at the size of the returns, the size of the supplies. I have a calculator that I built in Google Sheets, which is like Excel, that lets me know CFM and tonnage and all this stuff based on the duculator that I use. And it took me forever to build this thing. And I type all that in so I can do it real quick. It confirms, hey, this ductwork is sized for this size system. Then I confirm it with the breaker. Okay, this breaker is sized. I had one system, this guy he had 2 3.5 ton systems installed in his house, upstairs and downstairs. Right. And the ductwork was sized for a 2 to 2.5 ton system, upstairs and downstairs. The breakers were sized for 2.5 ton systems, upstairs and downstairs. And the load calculation said he needed 2 and 2.5 ton systems. That was a ballsy move right there. And I'm not bragging on myself, but it scared me to go take both of them and go backwards. And he loves it. And that was last summer, and he loves it. And it was like, holy! I'm sure, but the systems shorted out 8 years, and they were down completely. And I was like, that was the first red flag, is that they didn't last more than 8 years. But I do all that anyway, and then I put it in there. And then if I get the job, all I do, and I keep them in there for about 4 or 5 months, and then I have to go there and clear it because it bogs it down where the system runs slow. And if they don't go with us within that time, I'm going to want to go back out there anyway just to see if something changed. But then I'll just I'll literally add collaborators, and I'll add the manager, the office coordinator, my AOR coordinator, which is add-on repairs. I'll add the guys that are doing the startup, and then based on who's doing the install, the manager will then, when he sets up everything as it comes into the shop, he builds it up and sets it up. He stages it, and he stages it.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, he stages it because I then, if they get the call, I'll go into this detailed thing and I'll type in exactly what we need. Like, I mean, obviously, if it's like attic drain kit, we've got that set up, so all attic drain kits are going to be the same. Crawl space kits are the same. Whether or not you need a condensate box, I'll check it or not check it. All this stuff. I'll put in the breaker sizes. I'll put in how many takeoffs we need. If we need flex, if we need a high velocity grill for whatever reason, for the returns, how many filters we need, all this stuff. I add all this in there, and then I'm done with it. And then he gets it. And I've got an Apple Pen, and I draw it all on my iPad, like on every picture. So if we're moving a return somewhere or whatever, I can draw it on my thing. And then that way he gets it and he can stage it, and he'll know exactly what's going on with the job. If he has a question while he's staging it, he'll call me. I'll tell him. And then he gets the guys out at 7 o'clock in the morning, the day of the install, and knows exactly what's going on. And based on who's installing it, he'll share it with them a couple days before, so the night before they can look at it on Google Keep while they're like laying in bed to know like what they're getting into the next morning. You know, and the whole thing is we're so big on technology that if you're not ready to embrace it, you just need to fucking leave. Because it's there to help you, and there's so many people that just are scared of it, and all it takes, and it's there to help you, and it's literally, I mean, I can't imagine going back the way it used to be, because I used to do it at the last company I worked for before working with you guys. I mean, it just blows my mind, you know.
Well, I used to like do the sales. Well, go out for the service call, do the sales call. You know, same thing, same time. And then the next morning, try to stage it all of what they need. And then when they got out there, try to talk to them over the phone what they need to do while I'm trying to run another service call, you know, the next day. It's just like...
Well, and like the advertising...
But that's growing pains, though, you know?
It is. But it's good to go through that because, I mean, because I had to go through that, I know what everybody's role is that helps me. And I love it. But the whole point is that, like, if I'm having to come back to stage it, then that's time that I'm missing a sales lead.
Oh,
you know, and that's the whole thing. And so, like, yeah, you do pay money for sales leads. Like, we're real big on Google, and you do pay a lot of money for every time someone clicks on you. But like, you just kind of take a law of averages, I guess, and see how many you get, how many you don't get over like one quarter. And the thing is, that's the manager doing all that.
I was going to say, like, where do you think
he doesn't work in the field? He works, he works on his company, not in it. I mean, he's there in it if he needs to be, but he's really involved in like working on it. Just like you guys have always said that if you're in it, you can't work on it, and that's so true, because you got to look at like a law of like if you have, I don't know. My thing is, if he'll look at something and it's like if this material list, for a job, if it's an attic material list, he takes a law of averages based on an entire quarter's worth of materials. And he says, all right, we need to change the attic one to this based on what we got here. And he adds it in there so we're not losing. But, like, we're trying to be as competitive as we can, so we're not, like, jacking the price up. But we're making money. Like, we're doing good. And then, like, well, what kind of incentives do you want to give the installers? Like, they get a percentage. And then they get a spiff if the thing passes inspection on the first try. And they get I've told him it would be cool to have a spiff if it makes it 30 days without a callback. Because then it gives them a really big...
Right.
I feel like people work better. Personally, I feel like...
You got to have incentives,
if you have an incentive,
everybody.
You're going to care a lot more. Because I can tell you right now that if I didn't work off a commission, I wouldn't care about customer service one bit. Like, I personally wouldn't care about it because where's the benefit in it? But, like, I know, like, when I was a server back in the day, I was in restaurants and stuff. Like, you work for your tip. And I think that if everybody has that incentive, installers, technicians... all of them, I feel like it's going to motivate everybody to want it. And the whole point of it is not to be greedy. It's to motivate you to want to do better.
Right.
And all it takes is just taking the time to figure out, like, if you think about this, if you have your installers, right? If you pay them just hourly, and I'm not a business owner, so, if there's business owners listening, I don't want you to think I know what I'm talking about, but it's just a thought. Like, if you take your installers and they're paid only hourly, and they do a good job, and you want to keep them, and you want to make them do better. Like, I feel like an easy thing to do is to say, okay, well, tack on $300 to that to every job. Just tack it on. The homeowner is not going to bat an eye at $300. If they bat an eye at $300, then you're dealing with the wrong.
You're the wrong homeowner.
But like just $300 is not. They're not going to bat an eye at it. And the only person that's going to know any different is you. It's never going to be them. The homeowner is not going to know anything. And that's another thing. I feel like I've been there. I feel like if you know something, you're like, oh, maybe they know that I'm too expensive. Like it's just, I don't know. It's you got to just be confident.
You got to own it. You just got to own it and know that you're doing the right thing for your company.
Yeah. And if you just if you were to take $300, this is literally just an idea. If they finish that job in a timely manner, like that install within the day, and whatever, they get $100. Let's say that it passes inspection, they get another $100. If it goes 30 days, give them another $100. And it's like there's $300 extra for every single job. And if they're getting $300, if they do a good job and they're doing 5 installs a week, That's a lot of money, man. And
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
who's losing? Nobody, because you built it into your pricing. Like you
Yep.
built it in,
Right.
and now you got this install crew that's like the freaking dream team. That's like, I love working for this company. My manager's awesome. It just takes a little bit of time on the management end, and that's all. That's all it takes.
That's half the problem, though. There, you talked about it. We talk about it. If you're not working on it, you're stuck working in it. You don't see those little things. You don't have that. I guess so much of it is perspective.
And I can
But
imagine
you
it's
lose that
frustrating.
perspective, not being able to see it.
If you're like a one man, and then you have one technician working for you as well, and then you have one install.
Oh,
I can imagine
that's
it's
what I
frustrating,
came up
and
in.
It's
rough.
It's very hard
I mean,
for them, and I
it
get
sounds easy on here to talk about it like that.
It does, and
know?
that's why I don't want anybody to think that I'm.
Oh, we
I know what
were
I'm talking
going
about,
to
'cause I
kill
haven't
each
done
other.
it, yeah. But here we
But-
go. Here we go. Okay.
Dang it! Now I'm gonna have to go get another one.
Yeah, I was actually going to have to wipe after that.
Yeah, that one's gonna freaking itch when it dries.
Is this beer break number 2?
I guess this is beer break too.
Coming up next is Zach talking about his toolkit.
Yes, I know. I'm ready for this because now it's my time to start asking him questions.
And also about the tools that he carries around.
Well,
That one just splashed all over the place.
What is it? The same thing?
Yeah.
You know what beer has a really good opening? Like when you open it is the Coors Light, and maybe it's all of the skinnier cans because they're compact.
Yeah, the skinny cans.
I mean, they're just like, wow, like it's right in your face.
Wepa.
what?
Mi gente, wepa. Jeez.
Oh, back to Modelo. Jeez.
Oh yeah, back to Louis. What did he say? Mip. God, he was so loud about it too, man.
Wepa.
Mip mohaba.
No,
That's not what he said.
Dahaba.
Hey, what's that Ninja
your-
Turtle saying? You stay all the time with Raphael looking at Casey Jones with that bat. What is that saying you say, Rhydon? You gotta say it slow because I can't ever understand
What
the
is that?
beginning of it.
What is that? Jose Canseco bat? Tell me you didn't pay money for this.
Yeah. God,
Yeah.
we just watched all of those movies. My daughter, we
Classic.
went through the attic and I busted out all of my old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was so nostalgic for me to see them all because I haven't seen them since I was a kid or a long time, and she loved them. And so we watched all the 80s movies and we watched the newer ones, and then we started we have a Nintendo Switch, and they just came out with this retro Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but Ninja Turtle game, and so we've been playing that together.
Nice.
And, man, it's
Oh,
just
boy.
making me feel like a kid again.
Dude, when the first one came out, the graphics for them, I thought was just insane.
Yeah, and the second one wasn't bad, and the third one was awful. The third one, it's like
right.
they just picked the characters at Chuck E. Cheese and just like it was.
Oh, yeah.
The animatronics
It
were
was rough.
terrible. Yeah, but the first one was great.
Well, because it had that like dark edge to it.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
like some.
Yeah, it had like that gritty edge to it. It wasn't. I hate to say it wasn't made to be a kids movie.
No,
Really.
no, it was great.
Most kids' movies aren't.
True. Very true.
I've enjoyed. I'll tell you, I've enjoyed the Minions. Those movies make me laugh.
Those are good.
Yeah,
A lot of adult humor there.
yeah. It's funny how
The,
they throw that in there just for the parents.
Oh yeah.
The very last Toy Story was super dark. Holy cow.
Oh yeah,
It was really dark.
yeah. It made me mad.
All right.
I didn't want Woody to leave.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's
right,
a
so let's
snake
get-
in my pants.
Yeah, let's
right.
talk about I know Dennis was going to start it, but I feel like I haven't
Speaking
asked
of
the question.
tools.
I haven't. Speaking of tools, I'll interject myself into this conversation.
I get my 4-inch tool out right here.
Uh-huh.
So, Zach,
just
the
thinking
in-home HVAC sales guy, what are we using in our tools? What's in the toolkit, Zach?
Cool. So it took me a while to like get this all figured out, and I know I sent you guys this ridiculous draw. I had so much fun
I
drawing
loved
it out
dude.
too. Yeah,
I loved it. That was great.
So
We're gonna post it all on Instagram.
Yeah, no, and I use every bit of it, and it's just taking me a little bit to get it all figured out. But the first thing that I do, you got to have your booties, obviously, because you're going in houses and you don't want to track mud in. You have your booties, and then I have this tool belt that I bought that clips onto your belt. This absolutely perfect for everything that I use, and I use the HVAC, the Klein tool, the HVAC. It's like an 8-in-1. It's got it's got your quarter inch and that whole thing, the magnetic and all that stuff. It's perfect. I use it, and there's a slot for it to go in. And then I have on the other side, I have a Sharpie because I mark every disconnect that's not marked and every unit that's not marked on a roof. I draw it on that. And then, because it's amazing how many breaker boxes just say AC1 and AC2, but it doesn't say AC up, for upstairs and downstairs. Right. So I make it very clear. And then,
good point.
Because we ran into that where we almost took out the wrong AC unit because it wasn't clear.
I had one of my guys do that the other day.
Yeah, I think it happens a lot more than people think.
And they got seriously lucky because it was 2.5 ton systems.
Yeah, like I'll walk up, and it's amazing because like there'll be 2 units in the attic, and you can clearly tell that one is the upstairs because you can see all the runs for the return going to the return boxes right there in the attic. But still, I write upstairs and downstairs on the plenum box when I walk up there, just so that way there's absolutely no way they're going to mess that up. But then I also have a tape measure, and then the last thing that I have is a flashlight, and the flashlight I use is a Nebo, and it's real flat. It's a
that's what I was trying to figure out.
It's
that was
really
a flashlight
cool.
Or a camera. It's
a flashlight, and it's really cool because the backside, it kind of, you can pinch it to kind of like a chip clip, so you can clip it on stuff. So it's got magnets all over, so I will clip it on the front of my shirt if I need to use it to look at what I'm doing and I can't use my hands, or there's a magnet on the bottom of it, a magnet on the back of it, so you can use it all. And then it's amazing. It's chargeable, and I charge it in my car. I have 2. Nice. I have one in my tool belt at all times, and then I have one on standby in my bag. And then whenever I take the one off my tool belt, I charge it, take the one out of the bag, put it back in my tool belt, and I just do this rotation because it sucks when you're in the middle of a crawl space and that thing goes out. And you have your phone, but your phone flashlight is not that. It's not enough. It's not enough to like do what that's
it doesn't
doing.
Project. It's just right there.
Yeah. So that's my tool belt, and then like if I have to go in a crawl space, I come back to the car, and I'll go into the crawl space last. I'll go in the attic at the very end. I always do the indoor unit last, and it's because it's either you're getting dirty or getting hot. And if I'm going to crawl space, I'll come back. I'll either use the booties I got on, or I'll use some new booties. It depends on what you're wearing, because some sales guys.
Are you a white suit guy for crawl spaces?
No, I don't do that at all. I have overalls, but I've only had to use them a couple times when the crawl space was like soaking
you gotta have
wet.
them on you.
Yeah,
right.
You never know when you need it, and
you will cut weight in those white suits. So
yeah, but no, like I'll just I don't have boots or anything like that. So I've got like some shoes they're not like fancy shoes, but they're not like boots. So I'll end up using booties in the crawl space. I have a pair of booties that I'll just get dirty, and I'll use them in the crawl space, and then I'll have knee pads on, and then I have like gloves that have the fingers cut out, so I can because I'm walking on my knuckles in the crawl space, and right. A lot of it's overkill, but when you're doing it all the time, I don't really care.
No, yeah.
If someone calls
it's
me
not overkill,
a puss, I don't care because it's me, and I don't really care. And then the last thing that is a lifesaver, is get you a long stick, and I call it the spider stick. And my manager made fun of me, but then he went in a crawl space and got spider webs all over his forehead. I can't stand it, so I'll literally walk into a crawl space. The first thing I'll do is I'll clear all the webs out right there at the entrance. and then I will do this circular motion to just like freaking.
Yeah, it's not about the spiders.
No, it's about
the web.
It's annoying when the webs stick to your face, and you're like, God damn it! And then you have to pull it off your face, and you go like another foot, and then you hit another one. There's never a spider, but it's always the webs, and then you just literally make cotton candy on this thing. And you're just spinning it, and then like if it's a shady crawl space, I'll smack the ground. I'll smack all it just to get like if there's a snake in there or a possum or whatever.
He's been listening to all their critter stories.
Or a raccoon. Or
a raccoon.
Yeah. A raccoon, you know, something. Or those damn crickets, man. Oh my God, I hate them crickets.
Yeah.
You smack that area where they're at, and they'll run from you. They'll run from you. And so they don't like it. So I'll sit there and I'll beat that. And I'm sure the homeowners in the house like, what the fuck's that boy doing down there? You know, they don't understand what's happening. I'm just down there just but like I do that, and then I'll literally, if I'm walking the whole crawl space to look at ductwork, I will literally take every spider web just to be nice out of the corners, the crevices. It doesn't take that much time, and I'll literally clear it out. So when if we're replacing ductwork, our install crew doesn't have to deal with it because it's completely cleared out for them. And that's something that I know they don't know I do, but I know they appreciate it, even though they don't know that I do it.
And you do it because you.
I do it because I've been there and I hate it.
You've been an install guy and you get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's, you know.
Maybe they'll listen to this and they'll hear that and they'll be like, holy shit, that's why there's no spider webs. That's why I like working in air today. There's never a spider web. It's because Zach clears them out. And then I come out and I find the first bush and I just freaking just cleared out in that bush right then and there.
And as soon as this
I used to take my drill and you get one going around the drill, you can just wind them all up on the end.
Just take a weed eater in the crawl space, electric weed eater, and just just let that thing roar, man. No, so then there's that with the knee pads and the whatever, and then if I need it, I used to carry a 6-foot ladder. I carried that for a long time, man. And then I saw this thing on Amazon, and it was a telescopic ladder. And I talked to my manager about it. I was like, man, can I get one of these? And he goes, the only thing I worry about is a crawl space or a scuttle hole. Like, how are you going to get up to a scuttle hole to pick it up, push it over? And I said, I think I can make it work. And so ever since I've had it, I'm able to push the scuttle hole up just enough to where I can literally rest it on the wood and not the trim, but on the wood. Walk up the ladder, I can pick the scuttle. I've never had an issue with it, and it saves so much space because the thing, when you collapse that thing down, it's only like 3 feet tall, and it's like an extension ladder that's 3 feet tall.
In your back seat.
It sits in my back seat, and it goes up to 13 feet, which you don't need anything more than that for residential. And if we need like a ladder, you know, then I'll have to figure that out. But like, I mean, we just do residential, you know, so it's not a big deal. And then, you know, you got your cooler. You got to have your cooler. I got a trash can because I'm a damn OCD neat freak. I can't stand trash in my car. And the picture you guys sent me when
that Zach is OCD by now, listening to this episode, then you're not.
I've done it for 12 years, and I have been sloppy, and I have learned, and I'm just OCD.
Oh, I was the same way as a service tech, man. I was like cleaning
trial
my
and
van
error,
out
man.
After every call.
Trial and error. Yeah, the gas stations hate that when I freaking unload booties in there and trash and damn great wipes everywhere. And you know, the thing is, and like as far as towels go, like we used to keep like the rags and stuff, but like for sweating and stuff, like I just literally went and bought like a bunch of just little hand towels from like Target or Amazon, and I just roll them up and I keep them in my car. And I don't know. And then the biggest thing that I think that would benefit anybody is if they're in sales. I mean, it's hard if you're in service too, is carry window units. And the ones that I got this year, I went and bought 6 of them, and I bought the smaller ones because I can fit 6 in the trunk of I have a Ford Explorer, and I can fit 6 of them in there. And that's a lot better than fitting 4 big ones, you know, right? Because like right now I've got one in there right now. I've already got the other 5 out.
You pick up a few calls doing that?
Yeah, I've had a couple. I've had a sale that happened about 2 weeks ago, and the only reason that we got it, and I know we were more expensive. I mean, obviously it's about if they like you and trust you, but like I know for a fact the reason we got it is because I was able to leave 2 of those with them right then and there, and that was what encouraged her to they canceled the next call, said I don't even care about it. whatever, you're more expensive than this one, whatever. We need this right now. And the lady was just miserable. And so I just put one in her bedroom, and then I put one in her living room, and it didn't help in the living room, but like it was better than nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just complimentary, and we keep up with them. I mean, I don't know. And they're easier to use than the stand-up. They're very small, and yeah, they're ugly. And HOAs, there's people that are like, yeah, the HOA won't allow it. And I said, you put that in your unit, and HOA comes over here and talks to you. They're going to be empathetic. You're going to be all right. I mean,
well, and it's not like they're putting it in permanently. It's literally, I need an AC because it's 98 degrees outside and 1,000,000% humidity. Come on.
Yeah, people are empathetic. They if they question it, you can explain it. And I feel like by the time you get through the argument, the install's done. You're not going to worry about it anyway. You take it out.
No, I think I've been seeing a lot more companies do that.
I think everybody should do it. If they have a dedicated sales guy, they should at least have. They should at least have them, because all it's going to do is up your chances of getting that call. Because you're bringing something. Go ahead. What?
I was going to say, I feel like the window unit. I apologize for interrupting. I feel like the window unit is much more cost effective to you, the sales guy, and the contractor than, the portables as well. Portables, God, they're so expensive, but you can still pick up window units for, you can get 3 window units for the price of these portables.
You can,
and you can fit them in your car.
You can,
like you said.
Yeah. And the other thing is the portables, if the wrong people get a hold of them, like whether you have like different people in different departments bringing it back, they lose the hose that needs to go into the window, and they lose part of the flap or what. It's a window unit. It's all the way there, or it's not there. It's very, because we did do that. Last year, and I went out to this one house, and I had like mix matched hoses with the unit, and it wouldn't fit. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? And I had that's another thing I have I didn't show you in the videos. I've got a whole thing of packaging tape, and it's for situations like that where I have to freaking MacGyver and just wrap packing tape all over. But those things are good to have when you have those customers that have the vertical windows, like the windows that open horizontally. Sorry, they open horizontally, not vertical, because then you can go up there, but still it looks like crap. You just have to I don't know. I had one lady last year that just argued with me about a window unit because she was worried about her neighbors seeing it hanging out of her window, because they were her husband was a what is that doctor that works on your hands and your bones and your knees and God,
a doctor.
Whatever. Yeah. No, they lived in this super nice house, and she's like, put it back here in his back window because there's nobody that'll see it. And I'm like, okay.
Because they're going to judge you for putting one in when your AC.
She thought they were.
That kills me.
They sound so weird running outside too.
They do. It actually fooled me.
Weird sound.
This one lady that we had one running, and it was also raining like Jurassic Park this night, and I was there late, and it was probably 7 o'clock at night, and we had a window unit hanging out of her upstairs bedroom. I forgot that it was up there, and I was like, "Yeah, the outdoor unit's running." And she's like, is it? Yeah, we're good. And I walk over to it. I'm like, why is this thing not running? Like, what the hell's going on? And then I look up, and that damn window unit's up there. I'm like, fuck. Like, now I got to go explain that it's not running. But yeah, anyway.
All right, so we were going to get into... I feel like we got to save this. I don't want to get into all the new stuff.
No, I was going to... I
want to get into some of these homeowner stories.
Yeah.
Or what do you want to get into?
Well, I did want to run through a few things just for... Not everybody is, in a position where they have a professional sales guy like Zach in their team. A lot of guys are still trying to get how to be the sales guy themselves, or they're throwing a guy into sales, but he still needs a lot of, help to get over the humps. He's not as organized as Zach or some of this other stuff. So I kind of wanted to just go through some stuff I see I get a lot of phone calls from guys in Zach's position that aren't as knowledgeable as he is about his product or different things. Because in some cases they're still learning.
Right.
Some of it is they've just not ran into it as much because maybe they've only been doing sales for a year, but they didn't come from an HVAC background. So there's a lot of other stuff they're trying to pick up. And kind of, as Dennis is typing notes,
I'm
Or
not
no,
typing
Zach.
that.
Zach typed that one. Thanks for the distraction, Zach. Um,
I just now saw it.
but one of the things I get all the time. So Zach's talking about taking pictures. So one of the pictures I get from guys all the time is they send me a picture and they're like, "Hey, can you match this?" And it is a picture, but it is zoomed into just the furnace and just the coil. I have zero perspective of where it even is or what it's doing. There's no tape measure involved. There's nothing. So a lot of times I'll ask guys like, "Can you send me, a picture of what your crawl space or what your attic looks like when you walk in?" So one that lets me kind of see what space they're looking at. If they're talking about making something or retrofitting something, because we always get these questions about, well, why can't this be in a 14-inch cabinet? Why can't this be in a 17-inch cabinet? Well, unfortunately, guys, we can't fit stuff in those old cabinet sizes anymore because the efficiencies are so much different. You're not putting a 14 SEER piece of gear into a 14-inch 8 SEER, air handler. It's just not happening. Those things don't exist anymore. So you're constantly going to be setting up an install crew, which Zach is doing a very good job of taking care of. They've got to come in. They're going to have some kind of retrofit at almost every job now. It's just going to happen.
Well, it's amazing if you have an iPhone, which I feel like that's half the people out there, and I'm pretty sure Android does it too. But like on the iPhone, when you are looking at a photo, like when you're taking a photo, there's a little 1.0x button right there on the screen. And if you zoom in, it'll say 2, 3, 4. That's telling you 1.0 is where you're at. If you click that button, you can technically zoom out to 0.5, and it'll give you a fisheye lens of stuff. Like you should be able to see the supply. If it's horizontal in the crossface, you should be able to see the supply plenum, where it starts, the furnace, the coil, the return plenum. Yeah, I did that in the wrong order, but you know what I mean? Like you should be able to see all of that in one photo, and you should be able to have your flashlight angled so that you can take that photo, because that'll show you the gas valve. That'll show you the height of the crawl space. Like there's, like it's amazing. Like, because I heard you talking about that, and you had that one guy that just sent you the evaporator coil, and then you're like, let me just see the furnace, and you're like, they just sent you the furnace tag, and you're like, no, like I don't know. I think my thing is experience helps with that, because
it does. So like I constantly am like, okay, if I can help you, but I need to know more info. So next time you go in the crawl space, I say, can you send me this picture, or can you take this measurement? And I'll get guys to take a tape measure and put it on a cabinet and send it to me sometimes, because they'll send me a picture and say, what cabinet is this? I don't know. You're the one that took the picture of it, man.
Well,
I'm over here.
I think a huge
when
thing
I
is
get guys measure curbs, like for a curb adapter, I'll have them pull the tape and take the picture. I know it's kind of, holding the tape and taking a picture, but it lets me read the tape. It lets me see, a little size and how everything kind of is going to go on there. I like the pictures with the tape pulled on there, and it definitely helps a little bit. I mean,
I think one of the things that would really help, and Rod, you mentioned it earlier, talking about like product knowledge, know what you're selling, but then also the first thing that really helped me, and it took me a long time to learn this, and it's because nobody told me, but like learning cabinet sizes. Like I know some of them vary, but you got A, B, C, and D, and it's 14 and a half, 17, 21 and a half,
21,
and
24.
24, and then there's sometimes you'll get these weird ones that might be like 18 and 3/4 or something stupid. But like for the most part, if you learn your cabinet sizes, it really saves a lot of headache.
It does.
Because as far as the depth, they almost all are the same from front to back.
Yep.
Well, and certain cabinet sizes come with certain ton blower drives.
You're right. And that's the other thing, learning the model number to know that whether or not, especially if you have a furnace, there's some furnaces it's like, okay, well, it's a 50,000 BTU furnace, but it can only go up to a 3-ton blower. And then you're like, well, maybe I want a 75,000 BTU furnace because it's the same cabinet size as 17-inch, but however, it's a 4-ton blower, but you have a 2.5-ton coil. And you're like, well, now that's where it's like you got to pick if you can't get a transition to go from 14 to 17, you got to pick the best of both evils. Like you got to have to figure out, well, maybe I'll just center that coil, and that's not the way to do it. But sometimes that's all you can do if you don't have enough room to do a transition.
It's in the manuals. I mean, you can.
Yep.
They're designed where you can hang them over an inch.
Yeah, and that's fine. And sometimes
that.
people, and I've been a victim of this. Let me start over. Not a victim.
Nobody likes the way it looks.
Yeah, no, you want them to match up. You want them to look good. But the thing is, you got to know that model number inside and out to where you know what that model number means. And if you don't, you shouldn't be freaking selling it. Yeah, I mean, it's just you should go home. It's not hard. And if it's that hard, then you need to pick a brand that is not that hard, because there are plenty of brands that are super easy to understand.
Woodman.
Especially the ones that, I learned that y'all know what. I mean, it's the easiest one on the market. So I think that's the thing. Yeah, there's some that are just like, what the hell does that mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But like, it'll tell you the blower size, if it's single stage, 2-stage, what the cabinet size is, whether it's upflow or downflow or whatever, You can
get just about every piece of information you need from one model number without it being obnoxious. Now,
I'm looking at some of these photos you're getting, right?
Dude.
They sent you were asking them what's that liquid line, and they showed the tape measure like
at an angle.
At an angle, and you're like, I can't tell what the hell that is.
And I literally was like, well, I guess it's a 1/4 inch, but I don't know.
God, that's funny.
Well, and
that's another thing. Learn. You go through the tape measure. There's some tape measures that'll break it down. Like, I wish I knew the tape measure that I have, but the tape measure I got, it literally, and I know it sounds stupid for these old school guys, but the newer guys, they don't come from this background of like
don't get me on the tape measure thing.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to see the actual fractions on there. I can't do it.
Well, no, they'll be literally, it'll show you, it'll say, I don't even want to get into it, but it'll tell you like 3/8 or if it's 5/8 or whatever. Like, you can literally look at it and it's there, and you just you just know there's, for residential, most times it doesn't go above 7/8. Sometimes you see 1 1/8. Sometimes you see more, but like most times it's between 1/4, 5/16, or 3/8, and you just learn those, and you can learn them, and just eventually you'll just figure it out. Like, if you have to get copies of them somewhere, freaking go take it and go to the installer and cut a little section off and just keep it with you. Like right now, I've got a line set that we did a sample. This is completely different, but like I keep samples with me of stuff. Like we had one where we did a circuit.
I saw the product sample box.
Yeah, we brazed some fittings together. Is all 3/4 purging with nitrogen. Then we brazed the same thing without nitrogen, and I've got them side by side to show you the soot buildup inside of it versus the non-soot buildup. And that's one of the things I take with me into a house, and I only bust it out if I start getting these crazy technical questions, because a homeowner really, if you talk too much jargon, you lose them. And
they check out. Yeah,
but like as far as like, besides the product knowledge, like looking at the line set, like you can look at a line set and know if it's 3/8. If it's like not 3/8, and sometimes you're like, is that 5/16? Like, what is that? And then you see 1/4 and you're like, is that thermostat wire? Like, what is that? And you're like, oh, that's
right.
That's the damn liquid line, But yeah, no, I mean, sorry, I think I interrupted you there, but like it just, I saw those pictures, and it's like, that's one of the things you got to learn it. You got to take the time and learn it. Like, even if you're brand new, just freaking take. And if you don't know it, find somebody that's willing to talk to you about it, because I swear to God, the one cool thing about this industry is someone that's more knowledgeable about this stuff. It seems like the more people that are knowledgeable are so much willing to they're so willing to want to teach somebody else. And they're they're there and they love it. And it's like, it's a self-fulfilling thing when you can know that you're helping somebody, because you know that you're spreading on what you've learned through someone else. And I think that I see that everywhere. Like the older guys that's been doing this, I love asking them questions, and I've never had anybody that's like, I'm not telling you. Like, I've never ever ran into that, So I don't know. I just think that asking, and then all these podcasts, that you can listen to. But yeah, there's always somebody that's willing to like spread on what they know.
You got a different one you've been listening to? You cheat on us with?
No.
So I keep making episodes longer and longer so that you can't
I used
cheat.
to listen to to the point podcast. It's HVAC and
I was
marketing.
gonna
And all
say
that.
you've got
But
some good sales ones.
yeah, and they're good for that. Like as far as managers and sales and marketing and all that stuff. But like I stopped listening to that. I literally just listen to you guys. I listen to like a daily news thing just to tell me like who shot up what place today. And it seems like it sounds awful, but God Almighty, it's like I got on Tuesday. It's like whatever that place was, I don't even know what it is now. And it's like, yeah, shot this place in a parade in Chicago and blah blah. I'm like, God Almighty, man. I listen to that. It just tells me like real quick what happened in the world, and then I listen to music or I listen to you guys. I used to listen to this one, not HVAC related. It was called Superstition, and it was really entertaining. But anyway, that's besides the point.
All right. Well,
Supernatural.
Yeah,
Supernatural. That's what it was.
Supernatural. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, with Ashley Flowers. She was good.
Ashley Flowers.
So I'm looking at these notes that you typed about some calls you've had, and you've got guy drinking Natty Light at 9:30 a.m.
Perfect.
Yeah.
yelling at his wife.
I rolled up to this house, and it was kind of in the ghetto. It wasn't the ghetto, and his wife is there, and she's talking to me about like, yeah, we're just wanting to get our AC replaced, yada yada yada. It's in the crawl space, and I was like, okay. And I walk around, they got their pit bull chained to a tree that was wanting to kill me, man. It wanted to kill me, and I'm like, okay. And I go open the crawl space, and you could tell nobody had been in there in a long time.
Flashlight taser.
Yeah. Nobody been there a long time. So I go get my gear, and I put it on, and I'm sitting there taking my time cleaning the spider webs to get to the unit.
I was going to say, he's roping around the spider stick.
I am, and I literally will clear a path, so that way if I have to make a beeline for whatever reason back to the crawl space door, I don't have to worry about spider webs. But at that point, I guess it doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm just OCD. So I'm sitting there doing my thing, and about that time, I get to the unit, and the unit is a heating-only unit, and all the ductwork is heating only. It's all center of the house. It's not on the outside walls. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
non-insulated.
I immediately look at it and I'm like, I'm judgmental. I'm like, this is a waste of time. I'm not getting it. They're not going to go with it. This is stupid. And about that time, the husband shows up and he pops his head in the cross space. He's like, hey. I was like, hey. And he goes, what are you doing in there? And I'm like, well, I'm just looking at your system. He's like, how's it look? And I was like, not good. And he's like, all right. I'm like, why don't you come on in here, man? He goes, fuck no, I ain't getting in there. He goes, I'll get bit by something. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to be in here for a little while. All right. And he just sits there. He doesn't move. He's just sitting there. And I'm like walking around. I'm like crawling around looking at the ductwork. And I'm looking at this furnace that's, I don't know how old it is. I don't even know if it's running. And finally he's like, you almost done? I'm like, no, I'm still looking. And he goes, all right, then. And he got up and left. And all of a sudden, they have no insulation between their floors.
Out of beer.
Yeah, there's no insulation, on their floors. So I can hear literally everything they're saying. And he goes up there, and it's like, it sounds like Peanuts for a minute, like. And then he's like, all of a sudden, and I'm not kidding, you hear him say, you shut up, woman. And she's like, you don't tell me to shut up. He goes, I'll tell you where the fuck I want to, woman. I'm like, holy shit, like what is happening right now? And then all of a sudden, it gets quiet. And then I hear him, he goes, you still in there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still in here. And I'm like, you coming in? And he goes, fuck no, I ain't getting in there. And then I get out, and he's got a damn tall boy and Natty Light. And it's like 9:30 in the morning. And his wife comes up about something. She's, I told you he was in there. He goes, woman, get back in the house. And then she's like, and I'm like, God almighty, man.
Don't you sass me, Jeffro.
Yeah. And he's like, what's that? He was like asking me like what the verdict was and all this. I'm like, well, I told him, I was like, you don't have AC. He's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, I know you know.
That's
but
why
you don't
you're
have
AC. Drinking this Natty Light and now they're yelling at my wife.
Yeah, you have a heating only system. We're going to need to replace your ductwork. There's no insulation on the vents, and it's I'm going to need to do like a whole load, all this stuff. And at this point, I knew that like there's no point to move forward. Like I wasn't about to like spend all my time doing all that unless he said yes. So I ended up building a little bit extra into this job just to come back because I knew they weren't going to accept it anyway. And so, yeah, so that was that one. But that was entertaining. That was at 9:30 in the morning. He was pissed.
Man, I used to come across one or two here and there in Atlanta that were heating only.
It was the first one.
It's kind of rare.
I've been with this company since November of 2020.
I mean, you'll see it up in the mountains, I guess.
Oh, yeah. You see it a lot up in the mountains. Or you'll see a lot of cooling only with people that still use wood stoves. You'll see both.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I had another one, though.
9:30.
I had another one that I went in this crawl space. It's not a critter. Well, I guess you could say it's a critter story. And I'm down there, and it's the first time this has happened. And the more people I've told this story to, the more I've realized this happened to them. But it's the first time in 12 years this has happened to me. And I'm looking at this unit, and I'm like, I got my knee pads on. I'm kneeling down, doing whatever. And I'm taking the door off the air handler. And all of a sudden, like, I put my hand down, and I feel all this tingling stuff. And I'm like, what is this? And I look down, and I was in a freaking anthill infestation of black ants, like them little bitty ants. Dude, they were all over my leg. They crawled up my leg. They were in between my knee and my knee pad. And I'm like, and I didn't realize it because I had pants on until I put my hand down. I look up, and there's just, I mean, it almost looks like when you're dizzy and you're looking down and like you see splotches and it looks like something's moving, but nothing's moving. And I'm looking, but the thing is, nothing bit me. Like, nothing bit me. But I flipped out, man. I flipped out. I almost hit my head on the joist to get. Dude, I jetted out of there. I was like rolling on the ground and slinging my hands. I was throwing my knee pads and I flipped out, man. And then I went back in there like after I gave it like 20 minutes and they calmed down and I just avoided that area. That area was right where I needed to be. I didn't get that job
usually,
and I'm probably glad I didn't because I would have heard about it.
Stick is not working for this.
I've never had that happen, but I've had so many people tell me that's happened to them.
Dude, the fleas I had at that one call, I could not get my mind right to do the call. I just couldn't get it right. They were everywhere.
That's awful.
They were, and then I got in the van and they were just jumping around on the paperwork while I'm trying to write, and I'm like, oh boy.
Like, this is what I needed to take home with me.
I mean, they were everywhere.
Man, have you ever had fleas? Where was this at? In the crawl space?
Oh yeah, I mean the whole house was just in.
When I got married, we had our buddies stay at our house we left to go on our honeymoon, and he stayed at our house the rest of that weekend, then went home. Well, his dog was infested with fleas, and we didn't know it. He didn't know it.
Oh no!
We came home like a week and a half later, and they were in the house. And you would walk across the carpet, and they would jump and hit you like in the leg and the knee. And it took us a good 3 months to get rid of them, man. Like we finally.
What sucks about them is you see them, and then they're gone.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, where'd he go?
Yeah, and then. Yeah, it was terrible. And the dogs it was miserable, man. We had to turn all the furniture upside down and pull all the cushions and freaking bomb the house like multiple times.
Can't they jump like 20 feet? Something nuts?
I don't know, but it was
probably.
We almost called like
that.
The company to put the big circus tent over the house because I was about to just explode the house, man. It was awful. And then we finally got rid of them, and it was like, holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah, that house that had the fleas was a hoarder house. That was that took the thermostat off the wall and the roaches just took off running on the wall.
Oh, I remember that.
That's like some of these people that talk about bed bugs. You know.
I haven't experienced that.
Well, not HVAC, but like your YouTube like guys that go in to look for bed bugs. It's pretty gross. You know, like exterminators. It's pretty disturbing.
I couldn't do it. All right. Couldn't do it.
Well, what else you gotten into?
I was going to say...
I did see a package unit, and it wasn't one that I worked on, but I was driving by, and it was enough for me to slam on the brakes and reverse my car to take a picture of it.
You sent me that.
Okay. I was like, is that
That's
why he sent this earlier?
You might want to post that to your social media. It was a package unit, and...
ducked into the attic.
It's ducted into the attic, but they didn't install the packaging on the ground. They decided to, what looks like they went and chopped off a piece of the pier at Myrtle Beach and stuck it up to the side of their house, and then they had a boom truck drop it onto this platform. If anybody wants to know where that is, it's off of Nations Ford Road in Charlotte, right behind the Burger King. It's right there. You go look at it. It is worthy enough to go look at. I told everybody, and I don't know if any of our techs have gone to see it, but I've drove by there a couple times just to make sure it's still standing.
Oh yeah, it ain't going anywhere.
So, I was going to ask, because is it in a floodplain? Obviously, no.
No, they couldn't get the ductwork in the crawl.
Yep.
And the attic is probably too small to put a unit in.
Well, that, or did they have an existing unit before and they couldn't fit the new unit in there, so they just cut a hole through the end of the house and put because that unit don't look that old, and that metal's still kind of shiny, even though it's exposed.
It looks like somebody that knows a guy that knows a guy that has a friend that knows a guy decided they were going to do that job.
That was a brother-in-law unit right there.
A brother-in-law. I like that. A brother-in-law unit.
Yep. My brother-in-law's in the heat and air. He can fix it. I like the picture the guy posted on Instagram the other day of a package unit where the condensing section went out. So they just set a condenser on top of it and piped it up into that.
Yep.
Did y'all post that?
You got the coil? I just saw it on there.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
I mean, it was running too. Like liquid line, suction line comes then poking out of the package unit up to the condenser on top of it.
Well, we had another one where they had gutted a rooftop and put the condenser into the rooftop and piped it in. Had a picture of one of those.
That's a lot of work.
No shit.
To do that.
I saw a unit recently.
Lead time on that curb was too bad, apparently.
Yeah.
I saw a unit recently that looked like it was only being held up by the line set because the ground had eroded underneath it. I just sent it to y'all. And it was running. It was quiet. It was like the stealth model. Like that's what I told the guys. Like that must have been the stealth model because it was so quiet. It was running though. But yeah, it just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's being held the whip and the
you see it. You can see the whip is about to snap.
Yeah, it's about done. It's like I can't
hold on any longer.
I can't hold on anymore.
Oh, I love when you were talking about the what is that? Not Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, where he's eating the eagle leg.
Dude.
Oh, I enjoyed that so much. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I think it's cool how resilient units are, though, sometimes when you come up on them, right? They're quiet. They look like they've rolled down a hill. There's no fins left. And they're just like, yeah, I just want to get a quote. And you're just like, is this thing running? And it's got like a 20-degree temp drop, it's just cruising along. No insulation on any of the suction line. Just completely rusted out. But that's, you see some of these hacks where they, put these condensers inside of a pack, and some of that stuff will work. It'll work just fine. I mean, it's not, it's obviously
I get it all the time.
Upon,
that whole, I'll have to tell them, be like, yeah, well, I sized your return ductwork, and they're like, well, it's worked fine for 17 years.
Oh,
I'm
all
like,
the time.
Well,
you and I had that conversation the other day, I thought.
Yeah, we might have. And I tell them every time, like, well, you think about this, like, honestly, it did work. I was like, but like, if you buy a car and you slightly put your foot on the brake for 17 years, it did get you to point A to point B just fine. You just didn't know any. I was like, but then when you buy a car where your foot's not on the brake, you're kind of like, oh my God, and sometimes it clicks. It's depending on how to get through to them, But like that's the biggest one I get is we're like, it's been fine for 17 years. I'm like, no, it's been running for 17 years. It has not been fine for 17 years.
Right. Yeah. Well, and trying to explain to homeowner the new motor situation.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like I'll tell them, I'll say, you're gonna hear it. And if they say, I don't want to do it, I'll say, well, okay, well then I just want to make sure I put it in my notes here. I strongly recommend it, but you've declined it. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I have no problem doing that, but that way I have it documented. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And most times they'd change it, but every once in a while, you'll get that guy that doesn't want to change it.
You make me think of my dad. Because Cajun Joe would be like, oh, they didn't want to change the ductwork. He would literally go and write out a clause, and he would make them initial and sign it.
And then fax it to him.
Yes, he probably would.
Fax it. Just drag it.
Copy when I get
Drag it
back to the
across
office.
the desktop.
Oh, it's official.
Just drag it.
Can you initial here, sir? Thank you.
God, that if I could have had that on video that day, his dad
I wish
calling.
so bad.
Rhydon was immediately 12 years old. Dad, we don't have a fax machine in here. I was like, is that Rhydon in there?
12-year-old Rhydon showed up.
Yeah. He's like, Rhydon, I told you I faxed it to Charlotte. There's a fax machine in Charlotte. No, Dad, there's not a fax machine in Charlotte. Well, I emailed it to you. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
He said, take a screenshot. I can't. The scale will be off.
Zach, did I send you those pictures?
You did, but I didn't know
was
about
in
this. I
tears,
didn't know about
man.
the scale thing.
Yeah, he said, I can't just screenshot it. The scale will be off. You won't be able to size the ductwork.
I was like, what?
Ryan's like, what? Oh, there was a contractor in there listening to me in there. I was literally in tears
That's great.
because he had him on speaker, and then his dad started F-bombing, and he had to try to scramble over there to get it off speaker. Holy moly.
The old
Old
sailor
Cajun
was
Joe.
coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
You said
I
Cajun
love
Joe
when he-
used to be in the Navy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He'll say, son. Ryan will be sitting there.
That's serious.
Yes,
I
sir.
faxed it to you, son.
That's
Yes,
like
Dad.
that to him. That's like, I don't care what you say. I want you to figure out where the fuck it is.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm hanging up now, and
That's
you're
your
just
problem.
going to find it. He called me last week, was asking me about a line set. I think it was 1/4 inch, see if he could get away with it. I told him no. And about an hour later, he called me, and before I could pick it up, he hung up. I'm like, so I called him back. He's like, why'd you call me back? I'm like, well, because you called me. He's like, well, I butt dialed you. I said, well, I didn't know that. I was like, what else is going on? He's like, nothing. I'm working. I'm like, you ain't working. He did not want to talk to me, but I kept forcing him.
Yeah.
I said, is your little partner there, Chris? And Chris was like, I'm over here, buddy. I'm right here. I'm like, do y'all just ride around together? Do service calls together? What are y'all doing?
God.
Joe's like, I'm hanging up now. I got something I got to do. I think he was at lunch. Oh,
You got to get Chris on
Cajun
here.
Joe.
You got to figure out a way to get him. Y'all have talked about that for a
Oh,
while.
Lord. I know.
And you bring it up every time, Zach.
Oh, I
You
do,
gotta
don't
get
I?
Chris on
I
here.
do.
You do.
I forgot
Did
about
I
that.
send Zach? Did I send you the screenshot of the freaking message I got from Cajun Joe and Chris the other day?
No, last thing he sent me from them was that material list where he kind of
Oh
had
God!
line item
I can't-
19 was
we can't
really
even talk
19,
about-
20, 21, 22, 23 all on one line.
I don't even know if we can get into this one on the show, but Dennis knows what I'm talking about. If he doesn't, he'll remember it real quick. I just gotta find the damn thing again. Oh, jeez.
So I've been getting a lot of kind of off topic, but I feel like the contractor's changing a little bit. Since we're talking about Cajun Joe, I had a counter guy, a counter guy from one of our other branches, send me a picture of some notebook paper, and it had garage 40 by 20, 2 windows, 1 door, master bedroom this size, this many windows, and then it said something else this size, and he said, can you size some mini splits for this for me? Thanks. And I was like, no, that's not how that works. I said, who's the contractor? And he's like, well, it's this guy. And I said, well, he needs to size. We're a distributor. We sell him the unit. He tells us what size and we sell it to him. He goes, well, what size do we need to put in the, like he just wasn't picking up on it. And I'm like, we are not picking the size for him.
No.
I mean, I don't know when that started coming
Yeah, then it's your
about,
liability.
yeah, no, we're not touching that. And he goes, well, is
Just
there
sell
something
him. Just sell
online?
him a damn 10-ton,
A bunch of
a 10
nines.
ton.
Here's 5 nines.
Jeez,
Just
man.
let it rip.
Yeah, 5.9.
No, you know what I mean though. Like what is? I'm trying to think of what's going on with that contractor. Like, I never once wanted the guy at the counter to size my equipment.
No.
I mean, let's think about that for a second.
I mean, have you? You don't have to get into it if you don't want to, Ryan. But like, do you have people? Have you had people do that before? Where they wanted you to size it?
Dude, I get calls multiple
we
times
have a lot of
week.
salesmen that do
I
that.
have guys multiple times a week ask me to run their load count for them. I'm like,
But how do you know like
no.
that's my thing. Like, how do you know the window placement, where the sun rises, sets, what kind of floors they have, what kind of insulation?
You
Like,
don't.
And the thing
You
is,
don't.
No, you're guessing. Everything's
It
guessing.
literally-
I'll run down a list and I'll say, all right, well, I can throw it in here. I said, but I'm going to ask you every question and you're going to give me an answer. And then I'm going to put your name on it and you can have fun with it.
that would be a good class.
I said, that's the
you
only thing
guys
I can do
to put on.
Oh, a class on not getting your salesman to do it, or
no. Because you guys provide, something that a lot of other dealers won't provide. The way that y'all can do that, and there's a huge benefit of that. It used to be it would be linked to Zillow, and it would give you all that stuff, but they stopped doing that, and that's when I had to learn how to do it like for real. And it's not that hard, but it just takes just one good class, I think, would help alleviate a lot of that.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? But
well, so I found in this, the mini split brand we sell in their book, they're like this square foot to this square foot, put this size in. I mean, it is an inverter at the end of the day, but I sent him a picture of that. I was like, here, he can. I mean, if he don't know how to run a load, then he can just kind of do it by this.
let me tell you this: I forgot to tell you the most important tool that I use in my arsenal, and without a shadow of a doubt, the most important tool that I use is my iPad. And it's not my phone. I can do all this on my phone, but my iPad has a lot. I mean, you could probably use a tablet and it'll be fine, but like that tablet iPad is my best friend, because I mean, the reason I say that is because like you have room to use a pencil, room to do the load calc. You can't do that load calc on your phone without getting your thumbs are too fat to do any of that. You can do that on an iPad. I mean, and you can narrow that thing down. But yeah, no,
you can get close enough to cover your ass. That's what we're trying to do.
And there are a lot of I don't know. I wouldn't say 50. I'd probably say more companies than less that are not paperless, based on starter companies, but like when you can learn paperless,
people still aren't paperless,
and the whole thing is it makes your life a lot easier. But then again, you got to have the mentality for it. Like you got to be. That's why
culture.
That's it. That's all it is. But no, that's it. You reminded me when we were talking these load calcs. You can't do that on your phone.
But that's what I mean. Like, I think the contractor's changing a little bit. I've noticed on the distributor side.
I'm hoping all these youngins, when I say youngins, the people coming out of high school, like they want to do it, because like all this stuff is starting to gear towards them. Like with some of these toggle switches and all that stuff going to Bluetooth, and it's getting more acceptable. And because when I was in high school, and I think it's still, and Corey could tell you, it was almost like shunned upon to go into a trade. Like they try everything they can to not get you to go that route.
It still is.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Corey said the word trade don't even come up at his school, but that could be where you're at too. You know where we're at down here. I mean, it's a 4-year college all the way, but which is fine if you got a plan there. I mean,
well, and I had one school up here that I went and spoke with, like one of the science teachers to her kids with a contractor, like all 3 classes one day. And because they were going to build, I don't know if they actually ever did it, because all this was happening this happened in November of 19, I think. So it was just before, lockdown the next spring. So I don't know if they ever ended up building it or not, but they were going to build a whole, new trades department to start training kids in electrical, HVAC, and plumbing, as well as some general contracting, just basic framing and stuff. But I didn't know any other school doing that around here.
So there's a semi truck that goes around the country, and it came to Fort Mill High School, and it had all like virtual reality stuff inside where you could put on a welding helmet and it was like you were literally welding. They had some plumbing stuff. They had machine operators where you could grab the joysticks and do this and that. And they just come through the high school for like a week and had kids just go out there which that's, I don't know who put that on, but Keith Flores, he's got a good thing going with his building some flash and building some new age culture stuff into this. And you start talking to guys like that and they don't have trouble finding employees, man. But it's all how you build it up. It sounds like it's the company you're with, Zach, same thing.
Most of the people that work for the department I'm in, they're younger. Like they're anywhere between 21. I'd say the majority of them between 21 and 26. And there's we have a few we have another guy that's like 35, another guy that's like 42, and then the manager and all this stuff. And it's like we're training them, and we go through training every Tuesday, even when we're, in the middle of summer, like we were this week. First day back after a long weekend. No, you have to schedule. Yeah, well, they come in and we all have morning meetings every Tuesday morning, and it lasts from 7:30 until 10:30, and that's time we can be making calls, making money, but like training is more important to the manager, so we still do that, and we just push the calls back. And of course, our guys work.
Just don't schedule them for that time.
That's all you do.
My old boss, he just couldn't get it. He just couldn't grasp it.
Most of them don't.
And I get why they don't, because they're looking at the dollar, and that makes sense. But like the other thing is our guys work, 4 10-hour days. And so they, they'll have like a day in the week. And that's another thing. We don't have, our guys never, and I even brought this up to one of the technicians, Josh, the guy that, that works for us. I was telling him, I was like, it's amazing. Like the last company I worked at, we had people call out all the time. And this company, since I've been there, and I've been there since November of 2020. We have had nobody call out that I can remember.
Well, because they don't need to.
But they don't need to, because they get their time that they need during the week to do what they got to do. And then on top of it, they do get incentivized with commission. They don't take days off. And it's like, if they do take days off, it's like they're taking away from what they could possibly make. Where it's like not like an hourly where they're just, well, it's just a couple hours, whatever. Like you have like hundreds of dollars on the job, sometimes thousands, depending on what it is, that they could be missing out on if they call out. I don't know. I just think it's amazing, because before I came to this company, I always had, it was drilled into me that commission was evil. And it was because I just had the wrong mindset about it.
Well, it's the approach
and you do got to watch, because you got those,
how it's used.
Yeah, you got those parts changers that just want to change parts, and that's up to the manager or the owner to follow that and to know when that's being neglected, and that's up to them. But if you manage it and do whatever, and you train the guys, and you can tell who cares and who doesn't care.
Well, you can watch a guy's calls for, heck, in the summer, you could watch his calls for that week and look at his tickets that he's turning in, and you can see what he's doing.
Well, and I think the biggest thing,
it doesn't take a lot to see what's going on.
And I've talked, because like with our training, a lot of times we'll be very involved where we all like get to teach each other something. And even if we're teaching something that everybody else knows, the whole concept is if you can teach it, it means you really know it. And the thing is, one of the things that I talk about all the time is nothing new, but like the whole thing is, if you give a customer options and let them choose, then you can never be wrong. So you go out there and you change a capacitor or a contactor or something, and you notice the unit is like 16 years old. And you say, look, this thing's getting kind of up there. It's up to you. We can get you a quote. We can do whatever. I can recommend a quote. They say, no, let's not do it right now. It's like, okay, well, you have it on your ticket that you recommended it. So that way later down the road, they're not like, yeah, well, your guy was just out here and we had a problem and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, well, we recommended that you might want to get a consultation, to get this looked at. Then on top of it, another situation with that or scenario would be, they're like, yeah, well, go ahead and quote me to replace the blower motor if it's getting kind of bad. Because, there's not the motor, but the compressor, let's say. Because there's meg tests you can do now that tell you the windings on the compressors, all that shit. And you can say, yeah, we can replace the compressor right here. Most times when that happens, it's out of warranty. But, like, we can do this. Or I can get you a consultation on top of it to get a replacement. And they're like, okay, well, then you give them the quote to replace the compressor, give them the lead time, then I come out, give them the quote for this. And the whole point is not about trying to get money out of them. It's about giving them every option available in the book so that they can make an educated choice. Because when most people go to buy a TV, this is a complete change of topic, but not really. When they go to buy a TV, they don't just buy the cheapest thing they see on the market. They literally take, a lot of times people take the time to research it and they want to know their options. And if they have their options, no matter what happens, they chose that. Whether it was the best choice or the wrong choice, they chose that choice and they can't get mad about it. And I always preach to them, give them options. So if I go out on a job and it's got a leak in evaporator coil, I am not going to quote that customer because our techs will get a percentage if they flip it and I get it. I will not quote it unless they give them a quote to replace that evaporator coil first. Just because, and I'll find out before I go out there and I'll tell them, you need to give them that choice right now. And they'll do it. And the whole point is that way they can never say that I came out there and led them the wrong way.
Right.
Sorry. Kind of got on a rant there.
That's a good point.
But no, I got on a rant there. But like, it's trial and error, man. It's 12 years of trial and error and I made a lot of bad choices.
Oh. Well, guys, as always, I got to get up, man. I got to get up early. What time is it?
Don't worry about that.
Jeez.
It's pretty late.
Don't worry about that.
Well, because we always start late.
What are you talking about?
I was ready to start at 9:45.
Well, we were here. I was here for you,
Just
Zach.
blame Rhydon.
Everybody,
broad shoulders.
We have one salesman on time.
I'm used to getting stuff blamed on me.
Just blame it
I'm
on the
out of
triplets.
practice. It's because I'm out of practice being a sales guy.
So I did have a voicemail I wanted to share with you guys that I got today.
Oh.
Was it today? Might have been today. It was our buddy Jobin.
And I hope you're doing good. I just want to let you know that I caught your latest episode with the HVAC doctor. Man, that fellow's smart. He sounds like he knows all kinds of stuff. And I actually have a PhD as well. It's in love making. And I haven't had a girlfriend in about 15 years, but once a doctor, always a doctor. So anyway, just give me a call when you get a chance. I like to just catch wind of what you're doing these days. And I haven't heard from you in about 6 months. I thought we were best friends, but I guess not. Maybe we are. We're just long lost best friends. I'll catch you later.
Old Jobin.
You didn't get another one that followed that.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. That's lost in the cloud.
It's in the cloud.
God snatched it up and kept it.
For a rainy day.
The cloud. That cloud has got to be getting full at this point.
I feel like the cloud just keeps getting larger. There's
Yeah.
more cumulus
How big is this
every day.
cloud
I
getting?
keep paying for it.
Yes,
I do
how
too,
big is
man.
the cloud?
Every month I get the $199 cloud. I'm like, what am I doing with this? And
It's
then I
like,
think,
does anyone know?
I mean, the
thank you
whole
for calling
idea
the
of that
cloud.
is
How can I
not
help
good.
you?
Dang it! Now I have to tell you the other story now. My unit is heating thing. So I was talking to
Yeah, what's that?
I was talking to a customer. Excuse me, I was talking to a client on the way home this evening. And we were talking about just homeowners that were kind of a pain at different times. And he said this, sorry, this is going to sound racist, but it's not. It's a joke at the end. He said he goes to this Indian guy's house, and he's like, sir, my unit is heating before it is cooling. Could you please come and look at it?
I love your accent.
That's terrible.
It's so bad.
Why couldn't you just say it?
Just wait, and you'll see why. You'll see why. So the guy's like, okay, well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but I'm going to come out there and check it out. So he goes out, does his full Zach Weir run through the house. And the guy gets in and he's like, well, everything's not working. I'm going to give you an option to take a look at, different things we can do to take care of the house. And he says, here's, option number 1, option number 2. And they said, the guy's like, so you sure you can't give me a better deal? and then so just stop laughing at me. So then contractor's like, no man, I'm sorry, that's the best I could do. And like halfway through his sentence, the guy stops and he's like, hey, I just had to do it because I'm Indian. He's like, it's fine, we'll take option 2.
Oh my god,
That's the best deal you're fucking getting.
Oh man. But he said the guy just like kept building it up, and after that he talked with like a perfect normal accent. Like he got rid of his accent completely and he spoke like just straight English. Like the whole time the guy was putting his accent on just to fuck with him.
God, how do you not I would be smiling if I was that guy. If I were that guy.
Oh, I've been in front of that call many
That's
times.
That's great.
And it didn't end that way.
That's funny.
It never ended that way.
And he said this, he's like, dude, it never ends that way. He's like, this guy was messing with me the whole time. It was great.
That's awesome.
I don't know how many times I've packed up stuff going ahead of the van. Wait, come back. All right, put the Freon in.
Yeah.
You sure? Okay.
I had a guy ask
All
me
right.
recently, he's like, man, I had this other company put in $500 worth of R22. Do you think they can like suck it out and give it to me? I was like,
What, just in large bills or what? Like,
I was like, yeah, man, if you take out, I was like, if you take out a 2-liter Coke bottle, they'll put it in there for you.
boy.
There's really
No, I'm
$500
serious. He really
of
asked, and I
R22
was like, they could probably take some out and put it in the next unit if it can allow it. If not, then we got to take it legally. We have to take it away from here. We can't give it to you. It's like, okay,
Yeah, don't leave that with him.
but yeah, man, it about killed me. He's like, can they just suck it out and give it?
Yeah, they just, or you can huff it, or we have to take it with us. Either one.
You could huff it. Yeah, I've heard stories of people huffing gas station units.
My old boss said his dorm room in college was the only one that had cooling because all the rest of them they huffed all the freon out of them.
Jesus.
God,
Yep, ours was the coolest dorm in town.
yeah, God, that's great.
Everybody else was freezing up.
You're huffing Freon.
God.
Yep,
That's
he
nuts.
did not graduate.
I think most people in this industry that went to college didn't graduate.
No, he didn't graduate.
I made it a good whopping 3 years, and I didn't graduate.
God, you were right there.
No, I wasn't. I was just there for 3 years. Academically, I was not right there.
You're not.
My last semester,
there.
I was only in piano. That was,
Oh my god!
and I
Look how
and
that
I
paid
failed,
off. You're
and
crushing it now.
I failed it. I failed it, and just to give you an idea of what happened, and
Oh,
dude,
boy.
I went in to my piano recital 130 miles an hour, and at 8:30 in the morning, and I mean, you can just imagine, like, she's like, all right, what are we gonna do? And it's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. And it's just like start playing, like, just I failed it. It was terrible. It was awful.
Started playing Van Halen.
I had
on the
a- I had
piano.
a-
He's ever played scales in his life.
I had a really good time in college, and I tell everybody,
Obviously.
everybody that, like, they're talking about, like, I talk to them about their kids going to college. You know, it's fun when I talk to you about Corey a little bit, Dennis. But like, my whole thing
Corey
is,
calls me and says he's in piano only. We're done with college.
No, they
bud.
didn't know I was in piano only until a month before I was supposed
Oh.
to finish that semester, and then I still failed it. But the whole thing is like I was, I should have never went to college. Like I should have just jumped straight into the workforce. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like there's a lot of kids that are not like 18 years old. You're not ready for. There's some kids that are just
some
they're
kids
ready.
are.
They
right?
are ready and they're good and they are stable and they've got like the mentality and the organization. But yeah, no.
Some kids get all that in front of them and they just sink.
I didn't
like a
mature.
rock.
I didn't mature really until I was probably like 24.
Right.
So
Till he was like 36. Oh, wait.
Ish.
still trying to figure it out. Yeah. Well, I had fun talking to
Yep.
you guys.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, brother.
Always a good time.
Yeah.
And we will see y'all next time on HVAC R&D.
See you later, Dennis and Rhydon.
Oh,
Who was that?
I don't know
Who was that?
Who was that?
Oh dear God, I'm hearing shit.
Too many Modelos.